Hello, hello. I have arrived. Artist, archivist, future man, and tonight, trainer. You can call me Tiberius Vanderfield. Hello, hello. So tonight, Umamusume, Pretty Derby. So before we get into that, the rest of the business. So the next stream will be on Saturday. Should be around 7:30 p.m. Central Time. And it will be Arc Nights. Yeah, not a whole lot to be said on that, I suppose. In hand news, the hand's doing substantially better. Well, I don't know. I wouldn't say it's substantially better than yesterday, but it's substantially better than it was previously. Yes, it is pretty good at this point. Yeah, very, very few circumstances that cause any substantial pain. Yeah. Highly functional hand. But yes. So, other than that, once again, the game. So yeah. I don't know, I suppose we don't have a whole lot to say before we get into things either. But yeah. Mostly I just kind of want to get right into it. I don't want to waste too much time here. So let us do that indeed. So yes. So, I suppose I should talk a little bit about what I intend to do here, because that is something I generally prefer to do. But yes. So, once again, tonight, playing Umamusume Pretty Derby. But yeah, I don't necessarily intend to make this a long-running or very regular series, necessarily. It would probably be something more along the lines of how I used to do with Guilty Gear Strive, where I will play intermittently and continue to play the game in my off time. But yeah, I suppose I don't necessarily need to include the caveat that I will be playing it in my off time, but, with a lot of the games that I play on stream, that is not something that I do, at least not something that I do regularly. But yes, anyway, the main reason that I bring this idea up is because I do want to try to get through a career for a horse today. I want to get through a career so that I can have that done, basically. Because one of the daily missions each day is to complete a career, and you can only have one running each day. So I would prefer to have that all get done in one stream. Yeah, especially because I haven't done a career yet today, so I suppose missing one or two daily missions wouldn't be the end of the world, but I would prefer things to get tied up neatly. But yes, anyway. So again, I don't necessarily intend to be playing this for, as a main series or a secondary series alongside what we're already doing. I just sort of felt like playing the game. And it's possible that if I feel like playing it again at some point in the future, I might just drop in and do that. I might do that intermittently as new characters are added that I'm particularly interested in. But yeah, so again, as this is something that I'm doing just for the sake of it, basically, I don't necessarily have a goal in mind other than to get through the career. Yeah, I'm going to be trying to focusing on the story to a certain degree. Yeah, I'm not going to be skipping the story scenes, the main scenario scenes. I'm not going to be skipping the scenes for the main character that we'll be playing with. Yeah, I might skip some things, like things we've already seen and whatnot. But yeah, generally I'm going to try to present a reasonably thorough, though also reasonably not terribly lengthy career here. But yes. So yeah, I toyed around with the idea of potentially doing a little introduction, I suppose, to the game, talking a little bit about sort of the strategy that you would have when you are building your horse. And I'll talk about that, I suppose, as I go along, explain my thought process and whatnot, but I'm not necessarily an expert at this game. I'm pretty decent. I have gotten to the end of the URA finale twice. I've reached the URA finale a few times. I don't remember precisely how many. But But yes, I just had my second clear of it yesterday with Taiki Shuttle, a name that may or may not mean anything to you depending on how well you know the game, but yes, of course, my first clear was with Sakura Bakushin O. Yeah, who is in particular the horse that I wanted to highlight a bit when I was thinking about doing a sort of introduction to the game. But again, in the interest of time, we're not going to necessarily do that. If you want actual advice on how to play the game, there are doubtless plenty of sources out there for pretty decent advice. Again, I do not know the mechanics of the game very deeply. I just have a pretty reasonable understanding of how to get pretty decently far into a run. But yes, so with that then, I suppose there's not a whole lot to be said other than let us begin. But yes, so this is Sakura Bakushin O, like I mentioned, but we will not be playing with her today. Instead, we will be using Mihono Bourbon. Yeah, no particular reason for her especially, I just like her, basically. But yes, so, again, we're probably not going to go into too much detail here. But yeah, so, looking at her stats, she's definitely geared for slightly longer races in general. Slightly longer races, and she has a very strong affinity for front running. So yes, given that, we're probably going to want a pretty good amount of stamina on her. So yes. So yeah, good stamina we'll want to aim for. Other than that, yeah, I don't know. I'll talk a little bit more about stats later. And I don't have enough of a stable of Umamusume to really strongly choose specific ones. So we'll go with auto select because I don't think we're probably going to be doing a whole lot better one way or the other. But yes, so these are your support cards. Support cards give you various bonuses. I don't have a whole lot leveled up, but I do have a pretty decent number of them. Yes, they give you various bonuses. There are 5 stats in the game: speed, stamina, power, guts, and wit. Yeah, and each of these corresponds to a specific stat. There's also buddy cards, such as, let's see. Yes, this one right here, who does not contribute to a specific stat, but instead has various, well, they all have events associated with them, cutscenes associated with them, but this one in particular, again, doesn't contribute to any stats. They just sort of have a slightly more in-depth story. And this one is also tied to the story of the event that's going on. So, in keeping with my usual preference for sticking with the events that are going on, we'll be using this card. But yeah. So again, I mentioned briefly before that Mihono Bourbon, because she is more focused on longer races, will want more stamina. But yeah. As a quick aside, or as a quick overview, I would say that speed, stamina, and power are sort of your primary stats. Those are the ones that are most important. Yeah, everybody wants speed because it is a race, and thus being fast is generally to your benefit. But yeah, stamina is something that you can kind of take or leave depending on how you are playing. But yeah, generally speaking, the longer the distance of the race, the more important stamina is, because you will get tired eventually if you do not have enough stamina, and thus you will slow down, and you don't want to go slow down because it is a race and you want to go fast. But yes, and then power is a stat that determines how quickly you are able to accelerate, basically. Yeah, you will generally not be going at full speed the entire race, and thus at some point you will need to accelerate in order to overtake whoever is in front of you, or just put a further gap between who is behind you when you need to, increase the gap between you and those who are behind you, basically. So yeah, stamina is very much dependent on the length of the race. power is more dependent on what your running style is. Yes, Mihono Bourbon, as I mentioned, prefers front running very strongly, and thus she doesn't necessarily need to have a whole lot of power, because she is going to be trying to reach the front immediately, and it's unlikely that there's going to be a lot of other horses also trying to reach the front, so we shouldn't necessarily have issues of being boxed in very much or anything like that. But yes, basically, if you are a front runner, you have more or less the entire race to accelerate, whereas others run slowly for a while and then accelerate more towards the end. But yeah, so all of this is to say that she will want speed because everybody wants speed. She will want stamina because she will run long races. She will not care a whole lot about power. As for the other two stats, Guts and Wit, Guts is not tremendously useful. But yeah, as I understand it from some reading that I've done, there was a gameplay change at some point through the lifespan of the Japanese version that made it somewhat more useful, but in the version that because yeah, the current version that is released in English isn't necessarily isn't at complete parity with the Japanese version. It's it's not exactly the same as the game was when it was initially released, but it's very close to it, basically, with some quality of life changes, as I understand it. So yeah, so anyway, all of this is to say that Guts is not especially useful, because the main thing that Guts does is it reduces the rate at which your stamina depletes, from what I understand, and it makes it so you are faster when your stamina has been depleted. So yeah, I don't know exactly how Guts works. From what I understand, the stat itself is somewhat poorly understood by the player base. But all of this is to say that Guts makes you perform better when you are low on stamina. So you could invest in that if you don't have enough stamina, or you could just invest in stamina more and thus not run out. But yeah, it's a stat that's good when you're in a bad situation, but it's relatively easy not to get into that bad situation anyway. So it's generally not a stat that you're going to want to go out of your way to increase. But yeah, if you happen to get some, it's not bad, certainly. No stat is ever going to be bad for you, but it's definitely not something that you're going to want to go out of your way for. And then finally, Wit is a stat that is used to influences the random elements of the game, basically, which we'll talk a little bit more about in the future. But yeah, anyway, all you need to know is that it makes bad things less likely to happen and good things more likely to happen, basically, at this point. Yeah, it doesn't have a direct influence on how well you are able to race, but it will affect your skills, which do have a pretty substantial impact. So yes, so with all this, the choice of what support cards to use is fairly complex. It depends a lot on what the specific effects of each card are. Yeah, they give you the potential to get clues for various skills. Clues allow you to unlock the skill and make it cheaper to unlock. Yeah, they have events which can give you stats and give you clues for skills and whatnot. They have various passive effects, but the most straightforward effect of them is that, again, they each have a stat that is associated with them. This card, for instance, is associated with speed. And once you have reached a certain level of friendship, which we will go over again later with the character in this card, you will be able to have friendship training with them, which will basically mean that you will increase that particular stat faster. So yes. So even if the card doesn't necessarily have a lot of skills or whatnot that you would like, it can still be useful to pick it just because it gives you a stat that is important to you. Yes. So again, speed. You always want speed. So you always want to go with speed cards to at least some extent. But yes, again, with Bourbon, we have an interest in stamina because she runs long races. Yeah. Wit can also help with that, because there are quite a few skills that allow you to restore stamina after it has been depleted as well. Yeah, I found that this card, this Fuji Kiseki card, has been pretty useful. So we'll go with it. I'm not going to go into too much detail about a lot of my choices here. But yeah, mostly I'm going to choose cards based on ones that I generally find useful. But yeah, I think I might swap out this card for a different one. But yeah, I think we'll want at least 2 speed cards. And I think the rest we're going to put into stamina. But yes, I don't have a whole lot of good stamina cards, though, I don't think. In fact, I don't think I have any highly rare ones. Yes, cards, of course, have their various rarities, which have various benefits on their own. I know that this card is... Or I think that a Super Creek card, I don't think it's this one specifically, but a Super Creek card is pretty good. I think there's a higher rarity card with Super Creek on it that is highly valued, because it gives you access to a skill that is itself highly valued. But yeah, I think this one might have a chance to give it as well, but I don't think it's as likely to. Because yeah, I believe that some skills effectively exist in a sort of weaker form and also a stronger form. For instance, this skill, Hydrate. You can also, when you would be given a clue for Hydrate, you can also be given a clue for Gourmand, what I've understood, which is basically just a stronger version of the skill. And anyway, all this is to say, the stronger version of Corner Recovery here is a skill that is very highly valued. It's a skill called Swinging Maestro, and it is very, very strong from what I understand. Again, I don't think that this card is going to give me Swinging Maestro consistently, especially because it's not leveled up, but if it does, that would be very helpful. So we're going to go with that, and we'll go with a friend card. So yeah, so these you can get from people that you are following, or you can also get them from... Actually, now that I think about it, I'm not going to go with this one specifically. I remember that this Twin Turbo card does have some skills that are specifically geared towards front runners. So yeah, so I think we'll swap in Twin Turbo, and we'll swap out this card, this Narita Taishin card. I don't know, we're not going to think about this too much because I don't have that much information, and I don't want to spend that much time figuring things out right now, because again, I do want to try to get through this in one day. I don't necessarily expect, or like, if I don't make it all the way to the end of the career perfectly, I'm not going to be too upset about that. Again, I mostly just want to play and enjoy the game, showcase it a little bit, talk a little bit about it. So yes, so we're not too bothered by anything that will happen here. We should have a pretty decent build, if not necessarily a optimal or very strong build. But yes, again, you can use skills to make up for deficiencies in your stats. Oh, thank you for the follow. But yes, you can use skills to make up for deficiencies in your stats, and you can use your deficiencies, or you can use your stats to make up for deficiencies in your skills to a certain extent. But yes, without further ado, let's get into the story part of the game. Yes. Hello there, Olivia Lucy. Yeah, thank you for dropping by. Hope you're having a fine day. This is Tracing Academy. How are you? I'm doing fine. Thank you for asking. Yes, here, promising young Umamusume gather to train as racers, their hearts filled with dreams of glory found in the Twinkle series. Together with their schoolmates, they spend their days training both body and mind. And yet, not all are content with the current state of the academy. Yeah, thank you for dropping by again. Yeah, I am curious. Do you happen to be a fan of Umamusume who's dropping in here? Or did you find me from some other means? Alright, it seems that there's an emergency. This cannot go on. What's the matter, Director? I don't think I'll speak out. Yeah, I have an idea for you if you want to be a professional streamer into the future. You want to listen? Sure. Yeah, pardon. I'm always willing to listen to some advice. Anyway, I'm probably not going to read out fully voiced dialogue here. A completely new racing event, you say? A new event from scratch. Yes, so again, they're sort of introducing the purpose of this, purpose of the event here, or of this storyline. What we're aiming for. Yes, I have a high-quality VTuber model that I'd love to share with you. Would you be interested in taking a look? I'm afraid not. Yeah, I did make this model on my own, and I would prefer to, yeah. I'm not necessarily opposed to the idea of using a model drawn by someone else, but I don't know. I am able to draw models and I am able to rig them, so generally I would like to do that if I at all have the ability to do so. I don't know, I just like to do things. I like to put a little bit of a personal touch, I suppose I would say. Yes. It always has been a little bit interesting to me how they translate the title URA Finale, or URA Finales, URA Finals as URA Finale. But I suppose the last stage of the URA Finale is the URA Finale Finals, and calling it the URA Finals wouldn't sound very good in English. It probably makes more sense in Japanese. And so with that, we have our aim, and with that, we will soon be meeting our trainee. Rated to help all Umamusume Shrine, this race shall be the stage upon which you and your trainee's story unfolds. Alright, so yes, so again, you can drop your Discord username and I'll show you the VTuber. Yeah, I'm good on that, though. Thank you very much for the offer. But yes, so again, we're not necessarily going to be using quick mode to get through anything in particular. But yes, countless Umamusume have come to the Three Goddess statue to carry on the dreams of legends past, or to entrust their own to those yet to come. Today, those legacies spark inspiration in yet another new runner. Alright, so yes, so at this point, the individuals that we chose for our legacy will be granting various buffs to our trainee here. Yes, pretty decent stat spread. Improves most of our races, really. And that's really a lot that that is going to be very useful if we happen to want to do anything a little bit outside of our wheelhouse. The time has finally come for Mihono Bourbon and I to take on the Twinkle series. But yes. I'm starting to think that you're a bot there, Lucy. I apologize if that's a bit rude, but it does seem like you're not necessarily responding to what I'm saying. So if you're not a bot, let me know. Otherwise, I am going to erase you from existence. Yes. Actually, I wonder. Yes. Last chance there, Lucy. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right. Anyway. Yeah, they seem to be a suspiciously new account. Especially, again, given that they absolutely were not responding to anything that I said. I was pretty sure that it was a bot from pretty early on, but I didn't want to be rude and assume. But yes, anyway.
Hi.
My first objective in the Twinkle series is to win the Classic Triple Crown. I wish to continue gradually strengthening my body in order to achieve this goal. Right, we're in this together. We're here to win the Triple Crown and prove that one can supplement stamina through hard work. Our training begins today. Some figures standing off in the distance are watching Bourbon as she trains vigorously. Whoa, it's Bourbon. She's going at it hard again today. I know, right? She runs 6 inclines every day. That kind of workload is almost worrying. You're 1 second too slow.
Hi.
Yes, trainer. Just one more lap. You got this.
Hi.
Right. Yeah. Mihono Bourbon here, in real life, was known for her exceptional stamina. Yeah, to the point of being known as the cyborg. Yes, which has influenced her characterization in the game. Thank you for your hard work today, trainer. Good hustle out there.
Yeah.
I am merely following the training regimen you provided. Your efforts deserve more praise than mine. You're the one out there putting in the work. Mihono Bourbon's training regimen is very strict compared to that of other runners. I doubt there are many who can do what he does without complaint. Huh, thank you for the follow. But yes, if you are also planning to advertise to me, I would advise against it. But yes, thank you for dropping by, assuming that you are a human, unlike the previous creature who crawled in here. But yes. I don't know, creature is rude. I have room for non-humans here, just as long as they are not bots created specifically to advertise to me. Anyway. Thank you very much. Your usually unemotional expression softens a bit. You're going to take the Twinkle series by storm.
Hi.
Right. Yes, actually, I think I have seen you around before, Unix Bit, now that I think about it. So apologies for comparing you to a bot. Yes, I hope you're doing well today. The arduous training is certainly helping her progress. Gotta work hard tomorrow, too. Just as I'm heading to my office to further refine Bourbon's training regimen. Yes, not a bot, saw your stream notif on his Discord. Gotcha. Yeah. Yeah, I think... Have I seen you in Physicist Chat? I think that might be where I recall you from. Yeah, again, I definitely feel like I've seen your username before. Yeah? Okay, gotcha. Yeah. Yeah, I wasn't seriously worried that you were a bot. I was just kind of joking there, but... Because yeah, again, I was pretty sure that I've heard of you before. Heard of and read of what you have posted. Yes. Excuse me, do you have a moment? I'm stopped by a fellow trainer. Are you sure it's okay to put Mihono Bourbon through such brutal stamina training? He can handle it. So you say, but... He gives me a troubled look and scratches his head. She is very obedient, some might say oddly so. I've heard rumors you're taking advantage of that. Plus, she's a sprinter no matter how you look at her. Don't let her potential go to waste. I don't intend to. Really?
はい
Really?
おやめください
Winning the Triple Crown is a dream I originally shared with my father. Now, my trainer is chasing that dream with me. Bourbon.
あの
Trainer's meticulous training has allowed me to reliably improve my cardiopulmonary functions. In addition to training for consistent completion times of medium and long distance races,
それから
I recently recorded a time of 1 minute and 35 seconds in a 1600 meter run. This is a competitive time for junior year. I surmise that these are the results brought about by trainer's belief in my strength.
否定します
Furthermore, I currently have no problems with my mental or physical health. In short, I am okay. Mihono Bourbon speaks this entire monologue in nearly a single breath, leaving my trainer colleague dumbfounded. I didn't expect a lecture from you.
いえ
This was not a lecture. I merely communicated the facts. Right, okay, I'm sorry. That was insensitive of me. I was just a bit worried because it seemed like you were being forced to run beyond your breaking point. But I can see you really trust your trainer. Stay safe at the Twinkle series then. I'll be rooting for you.
ありがとうございます
Thank you. After saying his piece, the trainer leaves. Thanks for backing me up.
理解しかねる
I do not understand the intention behind your expression of gratitude. I merely corrected a misunderstanding. I'm just happy to know that you trust me.
思考中
I am not well versed in such things. However, I have determined that your instructions are essential for running in long distance races. That means you believe in me.
なるほど
I see. So that's what it is. And with that, Mihono Bourbon and I embark on a long journey to chase after our dream. Skill points went up by 120. That is a standard that we start out with. When I arrive at work in the morning, ready to start the day, Tazuna Hayakawa, the director's secretary, approaches me.
おはようございます
Good morning, trainer. It's finally time to start working with your trainee, isn't it? Together, you'll strengthen your bodies and minds as you forge an inseparable bond. I'm certain you'll have the most fruitful time together. If you're able to achieve consistent results, you may even earn a G1 title, the very pinnacle of racing. I'll do my best. So this section is just a little introduction, basically, talking a little bit about the game mechanics in a somewhat more in-universe form. I'm sure you will.
あの
Keep in mind that a runner's first 3 years in the Twinkle series are the most crucial. If your trainee hasn't achieved a satisfactory record 3 years after her debut, I'm afraid her contract with you may be cancelled.
はい
That makes these 3 years a critical period for her. Please work together and find a way to make it through. Yes, ma'am. So yes. So again, we will be training Mihono Bourbon for 3 years. We will see what she is capable of achieving under our guidance, and hopefully, we will learn a little bit more about the URA finale. First things first, you should probably start training for the upcoming Make debut.
それでは
Well then, off you go.
勝利を
So
得る
yes.
ために
So,
見本
in 11 turns,
指導し
we will
ます
begin our first race. We cannot race before then. But yes. So, the bulk of the game is composed of choosing various options. But yes, rest, training, infirmary, and recreation are the main ones. You can also race in... there will be certain races that you're required to participate in, and there are certain races that you will be able to participate in as you decide to.
通常のト
But
レーニ
yes,
ング
picking out skills doesn't cost anything, so you can just do it as you see fit. Yes, picking out skills does not cost anything, other than skill points, I suppose I should say. It doesn't cost a turn. But yes, other than that, again, training is mostly what you'll be doing. You'll be training to increase each of your given stats. And it looks like we don't have a whole lot of great options right now. But yes, each training increases a certain stat primarily and another one secondarily, more or less. But yeah. As you can see, sort of speed increases speed and power. Stamina increases stamina and guts. Yeah, power increases power and stamina. Guts increases guts, power, speed. and wit increases speed, or wit and speed. Yes, it also gives you more skill points and other forms of training. But yeah, so this is sort of what I mean when I'm saying that you shouldn't necessarily go for guts. Yeah, at least not primarily. Yeah, you will get other stats, or you'll get guts as you train your stamina, basically. And if you're in a position where you need more stamina, you can get more guts by getting more stamina, basically. But yes, so you can see the icon up here. This is Twin Turbo. But yes, she is a speed card, so while we can increase her friendship through stamina training, we can't get friendship training from her on stamina. But yeah, at this point in the game, you primarily want to be focusing on raising your friendships as much as possible. If you had any trainings that had more than one character associated with them, that's pretty much always what you want to go with. In this case, since we don't have better than one in any of them, we might as well just go for stamina. Stamina is something that's valuable to us, and this will give us a skill hint. But yeah, we'll be skipping through the training animations. Yes. Early lead, so that's a good skill to have. Alright, one day while relaxing in my room, I receive an email from Tracing Academy. What's this about? Attention all trainers, I will soon make an announcement with significant implications for your future. Be sure not to miss it. From Tracing Academy Director, Akikawa. Greetings, members of the press. Thank you all for coming. Listen well, I have gathered you here today for an important announcement. Director, you have to stand on the box or they won't be able to see you. Right you are. Apologies. Alright, this seems okay. Well then, from the top. Listen well. I, the Director of Tracing Academy, hereby announce the establishment of a new race, the URA Finale. Murmur. URA Finale? They're creating an entirely new race? Director Akikawa, I'm Otonashi at Twinkle Monthly. May I ask you a question? Permissible. What is it, Miss Otonashi? Thank you. Now then, can you give us some insight into the thought process behind this decision? Excellent question. I'm glad you asked. In short, the URA Finale is an event that allows every Umamusume to seek a chance at glory. It will be an event where any and all Umamusume can compete. Respect, honor, recognition. It will all be theirs for the taking. A chance at glory? For all Umamusume? Chatter. Now this is getting interesting. Sudden announcement of the URA Finale rocks the racing world. Immediately afterwards, an information session is held for everyone at Tracing Academy. By the time I make it to the gymnasium, it's already buzzing with trainers and Umamusume. The URA Finale, huh? Can they really just make up a whole new race like that? I wonder. I know the director's a big deal, but she's still a child at the end of the day. The old director ran the academy like clockwork, but that doesn't mean her daughter knows what she's... Excuse me for interrupting. There will be time for questions after the director's address. If you have any concerns, you may bring them up then. Miss Tazina, excuse us, we didn't mean to be rude. Judging by the mood in the room, there's still a lot of confusion and uncertainty. The atmosphere persists as Director Akikawa's URA Finale briefing session finally begins. Welcome. I'm sure that many of you must have been taken aback by this sudden announcement. However, I ask that you hear me out as I explain the significance of the URA Finale. Significance? What does she mean? The crowd glances at one another, and a hum of whispers fill the hall. With perfect timing, Director Akikawa resumes her address. My beloved students and trainers, tell me, have you ever known regret? I want to win the Arima Kinen. I want to conquer the Derby. I want to be the strongest Umamusume. Have you ever had dreams that you couldn't realize because the distance or the track surface just wasn't right for you? Have you ever ground your teeth in chagrin as you thought, I'm better than this? Trainers, have you not had similar regrets? Heed me. I aim to create a world where all Umamusume who aspire to race can shine. And Umamusume runners shine the brightest when their wills clash, and they battle it out for the top spot, The heat of battle shall forge and polish our racers until their brilliance is blinding. Blinding, I say.
頂上
In summary, I wish to prepare a race that will serve as a stage for all Umamusume to show their full potential. Rector. Currently, each G1 race has a designated distance and track type, limiting the runners who can join that particular race. However,
任せるがよい
behold, the URA finale will feature all distances and tracks. All distances? All tracks?
うむ
Just like in the Arima Kinen and the Takarazuka Kinen, participating racers will be selected by fan vote.
すなわち
Ergo, only Umamusume who have won many fans through their performance in the Twinkle series, the star Umamusume, may take part. Racers, I ask of you, will you take this chance to show your true strength?
なあなあ
Will you aim for the top and seize the title of finale champion? Trainers, I ask of you, will you take this chance to push your trainees to their limits? Will you see your trainee crowned the first ever winner of the URA finale?
さあ
3 years from now, in the new year, you will have your chance. Come, gather your fans and become superstars. Encouragement, excitement, I look forward to your success. And the crowd goes wild. The atmosphere in the gymnasium shifts completely as the doubts previously held by the audience melt away and are replaced with raucous applause. And with that, the birth of a new year-end race, the URA finale, is announced.
スタミナは努力で補える
Yes. So, with that, we will continue. Yeah, again, mostly at this point we're going to be looking for opportunities to raise, ideally, as many friendships as we can. So again, even though we don't particularly care for Guts as a stat, we do want to increase our friendship with Turbo and Silent Suzuka, who is the one underneath Twin Turbo. I suppose I'm probably going to end up saying a lot of names that don't necessarily mean a whole lot to you unless you are already versed in Umamusume. So yes, pardon me if it doesn't necessarily make sense, just sort of roll with it and things will make more sense as they go. You will learn through exposure, if nothing else. Happened to pass by the dorm after training. It's getting late. Where are you, my dear ponies? They're certainly not the sort that forego the rules. I do hope nothing bad has happened. Aha! What impeccable timing.
ごめんなさい
Sorry for breaking curfew.
すみません
We're so sorry, Fuji.
まったく
Welcome back. Would have never expected the two of you to return late.
さ
Pray tell your reasons for this?
あ
Well, you see, Spay and I were out on a long jog. We were running by the station when we came across a lost Umamusume. We tried to talk to her, but that didn't work, see, because she was an Umamusume from Dubai. From Dubai, you say? We managed to get through to her using simple words and gestures. Turns out she was looking for her host family's house. Once we escorted her back home, they invited us to her welcome party, and we ate these giant kebabs and... Kebabs, you say? Then a dance party broke out. We all did some belly dancing together.
そん
Good gracious, belly dancing.
ごめんなさ
We
い
completely lost track of time. We're really sorry.
あの
Yes, it's not the most believable story, but we are telling the truth. Oh, of course. That is clear as day. The two of you would never lie to me. It's precisely because I know it all must be true that I laughed. What a day you've had.
うんうん
I imagine the young Umamusume from Dubai is most relieved. Well done, Suzuka and Spei. Thank you so much.
うん
Here I was worrying about what kind of trouble might have befallen you two. I am truly relieved that you two are safe. Be sure to inform me of any future late returns.
ポニーちゃん
Please do not make my heart ache with worry, my dear ponies. Oh, yes, we're super sorry. Alright, so yes. So again, as scenes come up, we will get various benefits. They can give us stats. They can give us,
動作確認完了
they can give us hints to skills,
新規コマンドの
various other
入力を
things.
受付次第すぐ実行に
But
移します
yes. So, as you can see, there is a gauge up here labeled energy. So, you need to use energy to train. The lower your energy goes, the more likely it is that you will fail training. Training has a 0% failure rate by default. Yes, the lower it goes, the more likely you are to fail. And failing is bad, generally speaking. So you want to avoid failing. And the way that you would do that is by resting. You don't necessarily want to rest too often, though, because it, doesn't give you stats, doesn't give you skills. So it's generally not something that you want to... You want to push it as far as you can without going too far, basically. And to a certain extent, that does involve a certain amount of risk, but such is life. But yes, we've got decent results here, so we'll keep going. But yeah, there's not any sort of magic number to say, always train until you have this amount of failure chance, never train if you have this amount of failure chance, so on and so forth. I suppose I would say probably don't train if you have more than a 50% failure chance. Definitely. But yeah, it all comes down to how much risk you like to take. Yes, how tolerant you are to failure and whatnot. Because yes, a failed training not only doesn't give you skill points, it often reduces your stats. Yeah, doesn't give you skill points, doesn't give you stat points, often reduces stats, can inflict lingering conditions that will negatively impact you going forward. It can also, it also does not give you any friendship points with the relevant Umamusume. That's it. So as much as you might want to avoid having a day where you don't gain anything from resting, you'll generally have more days where you don't gain anything if you fail a training. Again, if it's a small enough chance, then you could very well risk it. And obviously it doesn't matter too much if you don't necessarily care that much about the going all the way in a particular run. Yeah, if you're just learning, for instance. Yeah, very much up to preference. I'm usually fairly failure averse, but we'll get into my strategies a little bit more as we get into the game. Some time has passed since the announcement of the URA finale. Finale champion, huh? Now you're talking. I wonder which race I should go for. Medium distance, or maybe even the mile. You'd better make it the mile, for your own good. I'm going for the medium distance race, and I'm always number one. What? Them's fighting words. That settles it. I'm going for medium too. Let's settle this once and for all, Scarlet. Bring it on. King's another favorite of mine. The first champion of the URA finale. Truly a title worthy of a first-rate racer such as I, King Halo. Come, Sky. I shall grant you the honor of racing with me. Join me for another round of partner running. Yeah, I'm coming. Boy, you sure aren't good at bossing people around. Although, I guess this is my chance to check a few things, so whatever. Excitement is spreading among the Umamusume as they prepare for the URA finale. I have to try my best too, as I renew my resolve. Room. Was that Tazuna? The subtitles suggest yes. I dash off in the direction of the noise to see what's going on. Who? Where? Why? What is this huge machine? I arrive at the dirt track to find that Tazuna in a panic. Room. And what appears to be an enormous vehicle producing an explosive noise. What the heck is going on? Ha ha ha! Crying out for joy, Tazuna? I completely understand. Oh? Serendipity. Why, if it isn't Trainer Tiberius? Hello? Fortuitous. You're just the person I wanted to talk to, with regards to... Now wait just a moment, Director. Before you go any further, please explain this enormous contraption. Apologies, I've gotten ahead of myself. Listen and be amazed. Restoration. Dirt tracks just like new in an instant. Adjustments. Fine-tune the amount of sand needed to your exact specifications. Behold, the pinnacle of racecourse maintenance technology. The Ready Paver Mark III. The pinnacle of racehorse maintenance technology? Racecourse maintenance technology, perhaps even? Don't tell me you dipped into your pocket money again. Naturally. When it comes to providing a safe training environment for our precious Umamusume, I will spare no expense. Any price I pay towards such a goal is trivial. Trivial, I say.
もう
That's a wonderful sentiment, but can't you ever do things in moderation?
すい
Oh
ません
dear, where are we even going to put something this enormous? Room. I'm sorry you had to see this, trainer. It's fine.
新車
Apologies, and may I say,
こんにちは
greetings! It's been far too long, Trainer Tiberius. Why, I believe the last time we spoke was during your training days. Nice to see you again.
ほほ
Oh-ho? What's this? That gleam in your eyes. Now that's a look I can get behind.
さすが
Indication. I knew you were someone to keep an eye on. Huh? Director Akikawa's had her eye on you for some time. On me?
うむにゃ
Indeed. Since the time my mother was director of the academy, I have seen many trainers come through these gates. Thusly, by the way you carry yourself and how you interact with your trainee, I can tell.
決定
Conviction! As a trainer, you will become a firm pillar to support your Umamusume's dreams.
はい
I feel the same, which is why we've wanted to speak with you for some time.
うむ
Indeed, we would love for you and for your trainee to help us make the URA finale a success. Naturally, everything rests on the presence of those who bear the hopes and dreams of their hands on their shoulders.
すなわ
That
ち
is to say, if the race is to succeed, we must have Star Umamusume take part. Star Umamusume, huh? The best and only way to win fans is to participate in races. But if you can amass a great number of victories and gain enough support, success! The path to becoming a Star Umamusume will open before you.
ご検討を
Encouragement. Pardon. Keep pushing forward, together with your trainee. We're looking forward to seeing her sprint towards becoming the first finale champion. We'll do our best. Director Akikawa's passion renews my excitement for the URA finale. Director Akikawa will now appear in training. So yes, she doesn't have any
自動パンチ
stats associated with her as well, but if you train whenever she happens to be up, you will get some additional skill points, and you will get more the higher your friendship with her is. So yes, so we're now reaching a point where we have a reasonable failure chance, which is not good. So yes, one thing that you can do is that you can do wit training. Wit training doesn't take energy, it in fact gives you energy back. It's less affected by, yes, less affected, not necessarily unaffected. Yes, less affected by the effects of, yes, it is less affected by lack of energy. There we go. Yes, if your energy is low enough, you can still get to a point where you can fail wit training, but it's unlikely. One morning, a flyer in my mailbox catches my eye. Aquarium grand opening, right next to the station. A tranquil space perfect for relaxation. This might be a nice change of pace for Mihono Bourbon. I don't want to let this opportunity pass us by. I grab the flyer and go looking for her. The first place I check is the training track, but she's not here. Unfortunately, my trainee isn't around. I decide to invite her the next time I see her and turn to leave. Whoa, look at her go. It's like she's not even the same Umamusume. That special training program's doing wonders for her. She's barely even started, but it's like she's already on a whole new level. Look, it's Trainer Kiryuin. A crowd of people has formed nearby. I find myself following their line of sight where I see... Great work, Meek. You ran really well today. Still, you lost focus a bit at the end. If you hadn't, I think you could have gone even faster.
頑張りまし
Try
ょ
to
う
concentrate right up until the finish line. I know you can do it.
うん
Thank you, trainer. I'll do my best. That's Aoi Kiryuin. Did you know that she's the heir to the Kiryuin family? They've raised more superstar runners than I can count. Right, she got the top score on the first term license exam, too. Happy Meek didn't used to be anything to write home about, but recently she's been making amazing progress. It seems that Trainer Kiryuin and her trainee, Happy Meek, are the ones attracting all the attention.
あの
Ah, excuse me, are you? I am,
トレーナ
I
ー
think. I knew it! You're Trainer Tiberius. Huh? Me? That's right. I'm sorry, this must be quite sudden, but I've always admired you. Trainer? Who is this? I'm sorry, Meek, I just ran off, didn't I? Sorry, I didn't mean to scare everyone. Let's try this again, shall we?
こんにちは
It's a pleasure to meet you. My name is Aoi Kiryuin. I'm a Trace and Academy trainer, just like you. And this is my trainee, Happy Meek. Meek, do you want to say hello?
こんにちは
Hello. I'm Happy Meek. You may not be aware of this, but you and I were actually assigned to Trace and Academy at the same time. Maybe this is weird, but I've always felt closer to you because of that. So I really hoped I'd have the chance to speak with you someday.
あの
Would you mind meeting up again in the future? I'm sure we can learn a lot from each other. I'd love to.
ありがとうございます
Thank you so much. It's an honor. Meek, it's rude to stare, you know.
すみません
Excuse me. Despite Trainer Kiryuin's words, Happy Meek keeps staring at me, or, more specifically, at something in my hand. Are you interested in this flyer? Huh? Is that an aquarium flyer? Meek, have you been looking at this whole time? Do you want to go check it out? Huh? Alright, it seems that it is indeed time to train. I don't know how much that's coming through. It's probably coming through more as I speak, but... Wow, the jellyfish are so wavy. She's really having such a great time. I never knew Mika liked aquariums so much. But are you sure I should be here? What do you mean?
いえ
Well, the trainer's handbook, that is the teachings of the Kiryuin family, states that Umamusume must be given appropriate rest. It also says the trainer is supposed to leave the Umamusume to her own devices during rest periods. That way she can truly relax.
あの
So is it alright for me to accompany her? I wouldn't be causing her stress, would I? Trainer Kiryuin, never the serious type, is worried about neglecting her family's teachings. However, the starfish looks just like my trainer. I'll tell her later. When I look at Happy Meek, I think she's happier here. It might even be meeker here.
え
Really? You think so? It's important to get to know your trainee. Get to know her, huh? Come to think of it, I didn't even realize she liked aquariums until today. Maybe I still don't really understand her at all. After enjoying the aquarium with Trainer Kiryuin, we all return to the academy and see Happy Meek back to the dorms.
あの
Thank you, Trainer Tiberius. Not only did you invite me on a wonderful day out, you also taught me an important lesson. I did?
はい
Yes, learning all you can about your trainee is practically point one of the trainee handbook. I always thought that meant having a good grasp on their physical capabilities. But thanks to our conversation, I feel like I now understand what it really means. I didn't do anything special. No need to be so humble. I think I understand why you caught the director's attention now. You sincerely care about your trainee, not just as a racer, but as an individual. That's where you really shine as a trainer.
よし
Well, I'll just have to work harder. I can't have you leaving me behind. Trainer Kiryuin and I make our way back to the trainer dorm, talking about training theory all the way. So yes. So again, you'll have opportunities to interact with Kiryuin as well. You will get various benefits for it, and whatnot. Yes, and it looks like an ad has started without me noticing, so I should probably go on break here. So yes, be right back once the ad has concluded. Alright, I have returned. Caught up preparing for an upcoming networking event outside the academy. Many students are running later than usual. I'm so scared. Rice shower? No, please don't eat me. I don't taste... Wait, you're not a ghost?
ごめんな
I'm sorry for yelling. I just got away from you while I was doing event prep. I found myself alone in the dark and scared. I couldn't move, but I'm so glad I'm not alone. Who's there? What now? No one's here.
よし
But that's a win for me.
どうし
Turbo,
たの
what do you mean by win?
えっと
So you were preparing for the event and fell asleep. but then you heard footsteps behind you and ran away as fast as you could? Yep, I turbo boosted right out of there. And since I don't hear any ghostly footsteps anymore, that means I win. But in movies, sometimes people think they've gotten away when they really haven't. No one can keep up with me. No slowpoke ghost's gonna catch me like a deer in some red tights. I think she means deer in the headlights. But still, walking around in the dark sure is scary.
Yes.
Really? You're scared, Rice? Then I'll go home with ya. But you'll have to keep up with me and my turbo boost. What? You'll be home in no time if you both run. I see. Yeah, you're right. The faster we leave school, the safer I'll feel. You betcha. I'm a genius. Hee. Hey, can you give us a starting signal? The shoe cabinet's the finishing line. We'll sprint to that. Ready? Go. Ooh. This is awesome. I can hear our footsteps echoing around. Your laughter is echoing too, Turbo. You're right. You should try laughing real loud too, Rice. Footsteps and cheery voices of the two Umamusume echo throughout the quiet school building. Alright, another benefit. So yeah, things will speed up a little bit as we get further into the game. And we'll see a little bit more of Bourbon as well. Yes. So this is an example of what I would consider to be a pretty good risk. Yeah, we'll increase 3 friendships at the same time. It's a very small risk. It's a stat we already want also. I'll check the other ones. Okay, we're good. But yes, it's not impossible that we will fail, but it's unlikely. Yeah, not bad. Bravo! I have recognized your insatiable pursuit of ever greater speed. See that you continue your endeavors in earnest. I now take my leave. So yeah, so this is going to come up every time that we do a training session that involves Akikawa, up in the top right there. So yeah, I'm not going to read it every time. I do want to get through this again at some point in the day. Yeah, I might not focus on events outside of what we. I might not focus on as much on events that aren't like support card events, things that aren't relevant to either Mihono Bourbon's plot specifically, because each trainee has their own storyline, or to the storyline of the event, because that is also its own story. One day, my ears are greeted with lively voices in front of the dorms. Come on, the wind should go to Rito dorm, obviously. No way, us Miho dormies literally caught so many of you. Oh? I spy a gathering of ponies. What seems to be the fuss? There better not be any fighting going on. Without me, that is. What took you so long? We're in the middle of a hardcore game of cops and robbers. Rito versus Miho. Cops and robbers, you say? That game where the cop team chases after the robber team? Now that takes me back. Can't decide who won. So, we need you two to settle the score with a one-on-one. Oh? Ah? If it's a one-on-one battle you want, that's what you'll get. Oh, what an interesting proposal. The two of us dueling it out. To arms, Hishiyama. Uji, you'll be the robber. It's your win if you manage to escape. That means you're the cop, Hishiyama. Get her in a bear hug and arrest her. Try and catch me, Hishiyama. If those hands of yours can match my rocket speed, that is. Ha! You'll be sorry. They don't call me Queen of the Amazons for nothing. You slippery little weasel. I finally got you cornered. Give up, Fuji. Well, this is unfortunate. It would be an honor to be captured by you. Huh? Why are you smiling? Fuji Kiseki pulls in Hishi Amazon by the waist and gracefully embraces her. Whoa, hey, what are you doing? Unhand me. I've come to steal you away. Excited squealing. The roaring cheers on both sides are enough to bring the game to a close, despite the lack of a conclusion. Geez, don't you know not to mess with me? When you're my opponent, perhaps I can't help but play around a bit. You see, Hishiyama, It's my hope to entertain everyone, as an entertainer and as a dorm leader. Show off. Despite her grouchy attitude, a faint smirk appears on Hishiamazan's face. Alright. This contributed to Mihono Bourbon's growth. So yeah, so this is an event that gives you a pretty consistent effect. It gives you it. This event, when it comes up, will give you flustered end closers. Yeah, again, you have various skills that we can get. Usually I don't get skills for a fair while. I take them usually after my first couple of races. Yeah, that gives us more time to get up hints, which I should mention a little bit. Yeah, you can see where it says hint level 2 on the view from the lead is mine. Yeah, that gives us a discount on purchasing the skill. Yeah, I think the hint level can go up to 5. Usually you won't reach that necessarily, unless you're really gunning for it. But yeah, so anyway, let's do some resting. I think, yeah, unless Wit doesn't have a whole lot on it. All these trainings have a pretty decent chance of failure. Pretty significant chance of failure. But yeah, so let's not. Good morning, trainer. I used my day off to recharge my energy levels. Feeling refreshed? Yes, I switched to sleep mode and kept on other bodily functions such as breathing and blinking to a minimum. Consequently, I have successfully eliminated my fatigue and am now refreshed. Now switching to active mode, I look forward to our training today. Yes, so when you rest, you will either get 30, 50, or 70 energy back. Usually it's 50, but it can go either way. Looks like Cops and Robbers is very popular right now. Hey, Tracing is holding a Cops and Robbers tournament. This event allows elementary school students aiming for Tracing to interact with current students at the academy. Ah, they were rehearsing. That's what happened in the last event. I see. Cops win if they capture all the robbers before time runs out. But if even one robber remains, the robbers win. I'm a robber, so I just need to make sure I don't get caught while the clock is ticking, right? Piece of pie. Trainers and volunteers from the shopping district are here to ensure that the team they've been assigned to plays safely. If you're here, that means you're a robber too? I'm just here to keep an eye on things. Don't sweat the details. You're one of us. I'll smash right through everyone, so you'll have nothing to worry about. There are still many trainees and academy students here. Come on, Cops, we've got to win this. I have to do my best. I can't be the reason my team loses. Forgive my intrusion, but I'll be offering my assistance to ensure that the Cops team emerges triumphant. Leave everything to me. I shall create an effective team strategy that will keep your stamina levels in mind. Whoa, their team's totally pumped. Aw, yeah. We'll just have to step up our game. Let's go, robbers. Right, everyone. On your marks. Get set. Bang. Alright, run away as fast as you can. The game starts with a chaotic game of cat and mouse, but as time passes, the cop team begins to slow down. Hey, how come the cops aren't chasing us like they were before? What's going on? Don't keep me waiting here. Running around haphazardly only serves to deplete our energy. Let us calmly lie in wait and observe the enemy's movements. I tell Twin Turbo that the cops are going with Itis' strategy of minimal energy consumption and efficient arrests. What? The heck's with that? Boring. I want to run around. I want to play tag with everyone. I'll fall right into their trap if you rush out now. I'm super fast. I'll be totally fine. You have a strategy in mind? Nope, but I'm tough, so I'll be fine. Maybe Twin Turbo's planning to draw the attention of the whole cop team herself. Alright. 100% behind Turbo. Let's go. Leave it to me. Turbo, go! Found your ice. Huh? Turbo? Wait, I'm not letting you get away, coppers. Take me on, fair and square. Huh? Wait, stay away. Why are you chasing after me? Huh? What's happening? Is this a special rule or something? Should we run away too?
いえ
No, please stay as you are. I'd like you all to remain on standby.
まったく
It would be best to stop her as soon as possible, but that would be a tough task. Yahoo! Wait up, punks. Now we're really playing cops and robbers. With Twin Turbo somehow chasing the cops and robbers tournament descends into mayhem and is eventually called to a temporary halt. Alright. So yes, speed and leader's pride. That's what I was wanting.
動
Yeah,
作
gotta get ready for bed. Take care, and it was nice meeting you.
新規コマンドの入
Good to
力を
see you
受
as
付し
well. Thank
す
you
ぐ
for
実行
dropping
に移
by.
します
I hope you rest well. But yeah, so leader's pride is more or less what I was wanting to get out of that turbo card. Yeah, slightly avoid getting past early race, so that will allow us to get into our frontal position a little bit earlier and a little bit more effectively.
勝利
Yeah,
の
again,
ため
we shouldn't necessarily need it immediately. Man, I'm not getting great training today. Usually I get much better results than this, or much better friendship options than this.
問題は検出され
Alright. Still no substantial chance of failure.
集中
Yeah. So again, at this point, we mostly want to increase friendship. We don't care too much about anything else, broadly speaking. Thank you for the training session, and will now return to the dormitory as scheduled. Wham. Yeah. Rear collision confirmed. Rice's head has made contact with my back. No one's hurt, right? Oh no, I'm sorry for bumping into you. Oh no, I thought I wouldn't cause trouble for anyone if I ran at night.
いえ
No, there's no trouble.
ごめんなさい
I'm really, really sorry. I have failed to convey my intent. Seems that my own mistake has created a bug.
許可を
Trainer, I propose a change to my scheduled return home, requesting permission to follow after Rice Shower and correct this misunderstanding. Yes, so this is an event that will come up pretty often after training. Basically, your trainee will ask you, hey, can I keep doing things? And you have the chance to either say no or yes. If you say no, they will get a little bit of energy back. If you say yes, they will lose a little bit of energy, but they will gain a little bit of stats. Not a huge deal, but usually if you can get energy back in any way that isn't resting, you want to try to go for that where possible. So,
感謝いたします
Bourbon will rest. I understand. Thank you for taking my physical condition into account.
お願いいたします
Please give this sports drink to Rice. Earlier, I detected perspiration on her forehead and dry lips. It requires urgent rehydration. Rice is someone I care about. I don't want to see her push herself to the point of collapse. Afterward, I catch up to Rice Shower on my bicycle and clear up the misunderstanding while giving her Bourbon's drink.
どんなに厳しいミッションであろうとも
Yeah.
必ずクリアしてみせます
Alright. So yes, so we can get a skill hint here. And increase some stats at the same time. Again, stamina is something that we are going to care a fair amount about. So I'm glad that we're getting this chance to, increase both Super Creek and Mihono Top Gun at the same time. Straightaway recovery, that's a decent skill. Cops and Robbers tournament suspended due to Twin Turbo's chaotic charge resumes on another day. Another close contest between the two teams unfolds beneath a clear blue sky. Hehe, I got away again. This is so easy. They're never gonna catch me before the time runs out. Game's almost over. What? But I've still got gas in the tank. I'm gonna win without even breaking a sweat. Run, Turbo, run! The cops, they're... Well, whoa, they're behind me. Now, everyone, surround them.
よし
There won't be time for further attempts, but if we can capture the last two people now, victory will be ours. Okay, let's go. Whoa, they're coming in front, too. Nice, now I'm getting fired up. Come on, my little minion, you've got to get away, too. Ah, owie. Minion, are you okay? Stay away. Leave me behind to run, Turbo. You've got to win.
わかった
Okay, I'll get away and I'll win. For you. This is a straight path, hemmed in by trees and a pond. There's no escape route. You will be caught. No, I've got to get away for all the other robbers' sakes. Turbo boost! I'm cranking up the back burners. She torched everyone chasing her with a red-hot dash. That's twin turbo for you. It is very funny to me how this card is definitely gassing up twin turbo quite a bit, as they say. And the actual horse is one that was notable for not doing so great in circumstances that required any real degree of stamina, from what I understand. So I suppose they're leaning into that a little bit with this. I've still got gas left in the tank.
Yosh.
It appears she's expended all her energy. Now's our chance. No, I won't let you get me. Alright, 100% turbo time. Ah, more full turbo boost. Ah, go, get away from them twin turbo. You will not escape. Ah! Kunoditis, you can catch her. Go, go, go! You can do it, Turbo. The tournament comes to an end amidst the sounds of thunderous footsteps and cheers from the crowd. And the side that scrapes through to victory is the Robbers. Hee But I tell ya, we won. Bet you're real glad you were a robber. I was just keeping an eye on things. Keep telling you not to sweat the small stuff. Your strategy was a huge success. The strategy, of course, is run fast. Twin Turbo beams with pride after using her signature turbo boost to seize victory. Yes, from what I understand, Twin Turbo was a horse that was very good at going fast, but not very good at going fast for very long. Like, notoriously would run out of energy like halfway through a race and massively decelerate. But yes, very substantial speed increase, some energy loss, and that, taking the lead, was a special skill. So some skills will have sort of these golden, yellow, orange, text box. That indicates that they are especially rare, especially powerful skills. So yeah. So I believe that, it is essentially a upgraded version of early lead. So if you purchase early lead, you will get a discount off of taking the lead. And if you purchase taking the lead, you will also automatically get the effect of early lead. So yeah, so you don't necessarily need to save up to get taking the lead. You can get early lead instead. And I suppose we might as well. Why not? Because we're definitely going to want taking the lead if we can get it. We want to make sure that we are in first, and we want to make sure that we stay in first, basically. Alright, nothing worth dying over, so we'll take a quick rest. But yes, I think this is the same that we saw before. Yes, we will continue. I spot a lively trio while I'm out shopping. Lots of pins. Cool, cute, and shiny to boot. I hope there are a ton of cute ones to pick from. So, this article wants us to make our school bags unique with accessories? Being stylish sounds like a ton of work. You can't be a real grown-up without keeping up with the latest trends. Probably. And decking out your bags with pins is what's in now. If you want to be in style, you need to know how to style. Wow, this magazine sure knows its stuff. Jumping on the bandwagon is cool and all, but you gotta make sure you're decorating your own way. Yeah, totes. You can't forget originality. Yippee! I'm so excited now. You can do this, you two. What do you mean? We're all getting stylish today, Bono. We're already out shopping anyway, so why not try to get some matching pins? That would be so adorbs. Yeah, looking at the time, we are getting a little bit late here, so I think we're going to speed through some of these secondary, through the support card events. Yeah, we can skip them, but I don't want to accidentally skip a scenario event or a trainee event, one that involves our trainee here. Yeah, this should be good. Yes, one evening I see Mihono Bourbon back to our dorm. Yeah. Oh yeah. So this is another, yeah, the Kiryuin event. Yeah. Again, I'm not going to concern myself with it too much. Because again, we are focused on Bourbon. We want to make sure that her training goes as well as we can. And we want to ideally make sure that she is done before the end of the day. So yeah, if I had a little bit more time, and if I didn't necessarily, I don't know, I think when I do my next Umamusume stream, because I'm sure another one will happen, I'll plan around it a little bit better. I'll get a better idea of what, I guess, yeah, you don't lose a whole lot from not doing every single one of your, daily missions every single day. So if we have to leave a career from one day to the next, that's not the worst thing in the world. Yeah. Anyway, race time. So yes. So, again, there are 4 different lengths of race, 4 different strategies. I'm going to be going as a front runner for Mihono Bourbon because that's what she likes. And I imagine most of them are going to be, I think it was medium that she was most efficient for initially. Yeah, she now has A in medium, mile, and long. Yes, races go from sprint to sprint, mile, medium, and long in increasing order of length. The day has finally come for Mihono Bourbon's debut race. Yeah, we've been here for about an hour and a half, and we are only just now getting to this. So, again, I need to pick up the pace a little bit if I want to clear this. Are you nervous? Initiating scan. Heart rate and blood pressure normal. These results indicate that I am relaxed. Put simply, I am not nervous. However, I can become nervous if necessary. Are those your orders? No, you're fine. Your typical calmness brings me some relief. Get out there and run as fast as you can. Order acknowledged. I will execute your command. I'm going now, trainer. Alright. So yes. So for some of the less important races, we might also skip them. So yes. But we're definitely going to want to watch our first race. It would be quite cruel of us, I feel like, to not. Any particularly important races I'll watch. We might speed through some of them, but we're definitely going to get the full experience with this one at the very least. I suppose this is probably about the least important race that we'll ever race in our career, but, you know. You can't just skip your trainee's first race, you gotta be there for him. Yes, so, a lot of these horses are more or less generic and not characters who are playable or ever will be playable. Yeah, you can usually tell to a certain extent. Well, I don't know. I've talked before about how there's a lot of sort of assumptions that I make as a relatively long-term fan of this franchise. A lot of things that I simply take for granted a lot of things that I simply take for granted as being simply understood, where they probably aren't as intuitive to, again, people who are not so familiar. Anyway, again, a lot of these horses are essentially kind of generic. I think they're, like, randomized, basically. Any horse who's being referred to with a number here is going to be a horse that doesn't actually exist, basically. They refer to them as fake horses. Yeah, they can, win and everything. They're not just there for set dressing. But they're usually not your big threat. The big threat are the other characters. I say that as one of them is preparing to pass us. We don't have any skills for later in the race, so we might be in a bad situation here unless we get some good acceleration on this last straight. And it looks like we're getting some good acceleration on this last straight. Because I did forget to mention that. Yeah, every character has a unique skill. Every character has a unique skill. So yeah, even if you don't invest in any other skills, you'll always have at least one. Okay. Mihono Bourbon is a Gundam reference. Alright, fine work. As expected. Yeah, I was a little bit nervous there for a second, but no issue.
一着達成いたしました。
Fine work. Fine work. Alright. So yeah, so you do need to get a, you need to perform well enough to unlock higher ranks of races, basically. Yeah, they mentioned before, you know, you need to be a star Umamusume to get into the URA finale. I don't know that that's strictly true. I know you need to, you know, it depends a little bit on what your character's specific career goals are, as different horses have different races that they need to participate in. Yeah. I think you basically just need to clear all of the requirements, which will usually involve you getting a lot of fans anyway. But yeah, I think you basically just need to fulfill the requirements, and as long as you do that, you can get into the URA finale. I don't think there's actually a fan requirement for the URA finale, but there is a requirement. There is a fan requirement for other races, basically. What a showing! Let's hear it for the star newcomer, Mihono Bourbon. Excited cheering.
帰還しました。
Order executed. I have returned, trainer. That was an awesome debut race.
ありがとうございます。
Thank you very much. I was able to adequately display my current abilities.
遂行します。
Logging today's results and environment data to my database. I will work even harder for the Triple Crown. We got this.
了解しました。
Affirmative. Let's do our best. The next day, I overheard a familiar name coming from a TV in an electronics store while strolling through the shopping district. Boasting overwhelming speed since even before entering the academy, Mihono Bourbon's the hottest newcomer on the block. He's one to keep an eye on in the future, folks. What a great was that a great debut or what? The news continues with some spectator interviews. I've been following her career for a long time, so I was incredibly excited to finally watch her debut race. What a run. It's weird, but I felt exhilarated just from watching her. Wow. I noticed an Umamusume looking intently at the screen. We've seen this Umamusume before. Don't try to lie to me that they are a mystery to us. It's amazing how everyone's smiling when they talk about Bourbon. It's so cool. I can even come close to performing like that in the Twinkle series. And maybe I'll finally be able to say goodbye to the rice shower that only brings misfortune and sadness to everyone. Without interrupting her moment, I leave her intently to watch the screen. I leave her alone to intently watch the screen, even. So yes, after each race, you will get some stats, and you will get skill points. Skill points are the main draw, as well as fans, as mentioned earlier. And again, we have specific races that we're going for. Yeah, those will be set out ahead of you. There are some that you can choose. Yeah, some Umamusume have some races that you can choose, but most of them are going to be preset. It's the day after Mihono Bourbon's debut race. Thank you for giving me some of your time today, Mihono Bourbon. A reporter for an Umamusume magazine has come to interview her. First, let me say that you had a stunning debut. We were all left speechless.
ありがとうございます。
Thank you very much. May I ask you about your future plans?
ええ、
My ultimate goal is to win the classic Triple Crown. In other words, I aim to win the Satsuki Show, the Japanese Derby, and the Kikuta Show. Oh, is that so? I was certain you would be aiming to tackle the sprints.
否定します。
No, I intend to run in the classics. Triple Crown has been my dream since I was a child. I see, I see. So you're saying that through continued training, you found a way to compete in medium and long distance races?
いえ、
I can't say that I have the confidence yet. I'm still best suited for sprints. Oh? Mihono Bourbon returns the reporter's baffled look with one of her own.
どうなさいましたか。
Is something wrong? No, I'm just a little surprised you would choose the path you have if that's how you feel. It would be a real shame if you were to get injured.
いえ、
My goal is the Triple Crown. This is non-negotiable.
遂行します。
Thus, I will train every day to improve my stamina for longer races. I see. Not truly convinced, the reporter leaves several days later. Mihono Bourbon, the big-name rookie many had pegged as the next top sprinter, has unexpectedly set her sights on the Triple Crown, leaving fans who had high hopes for her bewildered.
思考中
Analysis complete. This is criticism, is it not? Don't worry about it. The bit about fan bewilderment sounds a bit fishy. It's possible the reporter just made it up.
しか
I
し
mean, at least they are bewildered, I suppose. But I received multiple remarks that I interpreted as being similar while I was running off campus earlier. Really? Retrieving voice data. It's better to stick with what you're good at. You should rethink this for your own sake. Forcing yourself to run like this is dangerous. We're telling you this because we care.
ふむ
It appears they may have read this article and proceeded to wait for me to leave campus.
思考中
I assume that these people think I am being reckless. It does not necessarily bother me, but I do not anticipate the extent of their displeasure. I can't believe they'd go so far as to lie in wait for you. This isn't the first time this has happened, actually. Huh? Mihono Bourbon's aiming for the classic Triple Crown? What a waste! Why doesn't she stick to sprinting? Are you sure it's okay to put Mihono Bourbon through such brutal training? You belong in short-distance races, Bourbon. Nobody was being malicious, but none of them had faith in her decision.
マスター
Lowered eyebrows, tightened lips. I have identified sadness in your expression, trainer.
あの
Why are you experiencing sadness? It's not sadness, it's frustration. Can further effort on my part resolve this frustration? I'm unsure how to explain myself to the confused Mihono Bourbon. She hasn't done anything wrong. People just don't believe in her because we don't have the results to back up her decision. In that case, we'll have to prove ourselves in the next race. If we can get results that'll convince people she's got what it takes to become a Triple Crown champion, then, that way, the way everyone sees her might just change.
しかし
But our next race is the Asahi High Futurity Stakes, a mile race of 1,600 meters.
あの
That kind of distance still doesn't measure up to the races for the classic Triple Crown. Will winning this be enough? You'll just have to show everyone how good you are. How good I am? We'll show them that she can maintain her impressive speed all the way until the end, even at longer distances. When I tell her that we can show them that she has that kind of strength and grit at the Asahi Futurity Stakes,
理解しました
understood. My analysis shows that you desire a style of running that will quell everyone's doubts.
遂行し
Order acknowledged. It will change the public's perception at the Asahi Futurity Stakes. Let's do our best. Our days of training together for the Asahi High Futurity Stakes begin now. Alright. So yeah.
何かお悩みです
So,
か
another benefit of watching the races is that you do get a better idea of sort of how you're doing, so to speak. I would prefer not guts here, but we'll take what we can get. But yeah, you can see how you're doing. But yeah, the exact performance that you have is going to be somewhat random. Yeah, just your horse will perform slightly different from one race to another, even discounting the fact that stat or skill activations themselves are random, things like that. Yeah, the way that other horses will perform is random because they will have their own stats and they will have their own skills and whatnot. There are no certainties in the exciting world of horse racing. But yes, so this here is Otonashi. She's a bit of a weirdo.
あの
So yeah, she's here to talk to us and to talk about our horse. And she will also show up at various points throughout training. You'll be another training partner.
なるほど
If you pick a training with her as one of the options, or rather, as one of the supports for it, then you will get additional points in what you trained. And as you increase your friendship with her, you will get further, a bigger bonus, basically. Anyway, her gimmick is that every time we say something, she takes it much, much, much farther than we actually meant it.
上々
But yes, Akikawa is here also. She and Otonashi get along pretty well because they're both extremely enthusiastic, perhaps overwhelmingly so.
さすが感心感心
But yes, anyway, again, we're not going to worry too much. It is a little bit funny that Akikawa has said that we're having trouble finding fans. Technically, that is true, but we haven't met our fan goal, but we're only 140 away. And you typically get, you know, a few thousand per race, so yeah, power. Yeah, the hints that show up here are a little bit questionable sometimes. They can be useful, but honestly, I don't really look at them. And I don't necessarily recommend that you spend a whole lot of time looking at them yourself. But yes. I think we'll go with Path to Fame. Again, this doesn't matter too much either. It doesn't actually limit the races that you get to participate in. It just suggests certain ones. And these are the only 2 races we can participate in right now. So obviously we would want to go with the one that is more in line with our abilities. That being said, we didn't do great at our last race. So I think that we probably want to increase our stats a little bit more before we do much more racing. Again, we're not necessarily focusing too much on... Yeah, we're not focusing too much on actually increasing... Yeah, we're not focusing too much on actually increasing our stats as much as we are focusing on increasing our friendship. So yes, given that we don't have any real good options that don't involve don't have a pretty good chance of failing, now would be a good time to race. So yeah, the amount of energy that you have going into a race is completely irrelevant. Is this an error? In that case, are you okay? Increased heart rate and tightness in chest detected. I have determined that I am in an abnormal state of stimulation. Based on this, I believe I am trembling with excitement. I will definitely win this race, trainer. But yeah, you can usually get a little bit of a buff before any given race. Yeah, this is permanent. It is a permanent stat gain. Yeah, again, I want to sort of check in on how Mihono Bourbon is doing. Because again, we won that last race by a pretty small margin. It's possible that we just sort of had a kind of low roll that day. Yeah, it's possible that we just kind of had a fairly low roll and that we don't necessarily need to worry about it too much. Gold chip is in this race, which is kind of worrying to me. Okay, rushed. That is a status effect that can occur. Basically, that just means that your horse will go faster and use up more stamina, which is bad. Yeah, you want them to pace themselves, of course. Yeah, you don't want to use up stamina too early, especially not if you are a sprinter, or if you are a front runner rather, as Mihono Bourbon is. We're doing pretty well, but Gold Chip is going to catch up to us as we go, and she has a decent chance of overtaking us. You don't necessarily need to win to get benefits, but you get more benefit if you win. And it looks like we're going to win anyway, so it doesn't matter. So yes. Tip. Yes, Gold Chip is an end closer. Yeah, which means that she runs in the very end and catches up towards the actually I don't know that she's always an end closer. I've trained a Gold Chip before, but I don't remember her build right off the top of my head. Yeah, suffice it to say that she tends towards the end and speeds up. Yeah, speeds up towards the middle of the race and has a decent chance of just overtaking you. I like to call that moment a Gold Chip jump scare. Reporting, I achieved first place. My mission is complete. It's thanks to your guidance, trainer. But yes, you get a dialogue option here. I believe that these options are meaningful, but I don't know what the difference is. But yeah, anyway. Thank you for your efforts. So yeah, again, your energy does not affect your performance in the race. Your mood, up here, does. Whoops. Yes, your mood increases the results. So yeah, generally speaking, you want to be in as good as a mood as you possibly can, because it will give you more stats. I probably should have gone for recreation earlier to increase mood. Yeah, it gives you more stats, gives you better performance in a race and whatnot. Yeah, so now that I think about it, we're gonna go for a fun outing. Yeah, went for some karaoke. That can actually increase that does rather increase your mood by 2 points. You were already at good, and it can't go higher than great, so that was a little bit of a waste, but, it's fine. Mihono Bourbon and I are on our way home after a day out and about.
マスター
Trainer, what would you consider to be precious memories that we share? Well, we've not been together for very long, but I've enjoyed all the time that we've had together so far. Why are you asking all of a sudden?
あの
Well, he tells me that the topic came up in class earlier. Apparently, everyone has some kind of precious memory they shared with a trainer. On the other hand, Mihono Bourbon was confused.
疑問です
What does precious mean?
うーん
I am unable to adequately comprehend its definition. Precious means something of value, something you do not want to break.
しかし
However, how is that related to memories? Memories are not tangible things that can be broken.
理解しか
What
ね
makes a memory precious is something I am unable to quantify. Nothing just popped into your head? Pops into my head?
思考中
Error. Due to an innumerable amount of search results for memories, I am unable to narrow it down to only precious ones.
詳細を求め
I've
ます
determined that obtaining a better understanding of precious is necessary before searching my memory logs. Seems like she still can't understand what makes a memory precious. In that case, there's only one thing left to do. Let's make a ton of new memories together.
あの
You wish to create even more memories in order to help me understand what makes them precious? I see. Simply put, experiencing the feeling in real time may be the fastest way to achieve comprehension. Let's get going then.
ならば
Understood. Following evening, Mihono Bourbon and I visit the park. Is there something you want to do here?
はい
Many of the other students' precious memories were related to receiving advice from their trainers.
それから
Based upon that, I've deduced that the perfect conditions for discussing my troubles are in the evening, at a park, and alone together. That is why I brought you here. If there's ever anything bothering you, I'm always here to listen.
うーん思考
I believe I am at a loss. I apologize. I do not have any particular troubles.
失敗し
Failure.
ました
Moving to next method. Why don't we try doing something fun? Fun at the park. Do you mean you wish to play tag? That's been a major recurring plot element of this story. The game is usually not this focused on tag. We just happen to be I just happen to have picked a lot of support cards that included, I suppose. By a lot, I mean two, I suppose. Understood. Now, who will be it first? Whatever reason, Mihono Bourbon and I end up playing tag together at the park. It goes without saying that I'll be tagged in an instant if she's it, and she'll never get tagged if I'm it. The results are obvious from the start. Fortunately, this won't end up as a precious memory. Failure. Let's take a break.
はい
Understood. As you wish, trainer.
分析中
I've detected a decline in your stamina. It appears that walking is causing you difficulty. I will carry you to a bench. I sit down on a bench and let out a deep sigh. The expression on Mihono Bourbon's face tells me that she wants to say something.
マスター
Trainer, I have failed to achieve my goal today.
うーん
To make matters worse, I have caused you to become physically exhausted.
あの
Perhaps the day's events will become an unpleasant memory for you. That's not the case. Really? Of course. Regardless of the outcome, this is a memory. I see. Thank you very much. Mihono Bourbon thanks me and smiles at the prospect of trying to make precious memories again. He looks down for a moment as if deep in thought before giving me a small nod. Alright, we've got guts here, which is not necessarily great, but
体力
we did have an issue with speed towards the end of the
まだ
first
い
race.
けます
We did pretty good on the second one, even without any major skill or any skill activations at all.
おはようございます
Once again, as we have seen,
お願い
yeah, so you can skip through them faster. Again, I'm trying to avoid doing that so that I don't accidentally skip anything I don't want to. Alright, looks like we can get Turbo up to the friendship training threshold pretty soon here. I do want to prioritize getting more friendships though, rather than getting any specific one up to any particular threshold right now. Okay, so yeah, so this is an opportunity for 3 friendships at a time. Small failure chance. So let's go for it.
体力低下を確認。
Yes, we're running a little bit low on energy again. Yeah, nothing is too desperately great. I'm definitely not going to risk it for that.
出力低下の可能性。
Let's see. We do have another race coming up. Again, we don't necessarily need to run any extra ones. But running races when you can is, I find, well, not I find, the game specifically told you, but it is good for gaining skill points. Yeah. So the predictions here are usually fairly reliable. Often they will say that you don't have enough guts, which is not necessarily true, because if you are sufficiently invested in stamina, guts is kind of irrelevant. But yeah, I think this broadly measures how your trainee is compared to other characters that are likely to be in the race, because the races themselves are again random. But yeah, I think it compares your... I don't know if that it compares you to who actually is going to be in the race as much as it compares you to what sort of the median performance would be, perhaps. Anyway, all this is to say, it's saying that we've got a pretty good chance, and usually if it says you've got a good chance, you've got a good chance. It's not guaranteed, of course. Nothing is ever guaranteed, but it is what it is. So yeah, so as you get in, you can see that the icons up here are slightly different. Actually, no, they are... I think they match more or less what we saw earlier. But often these will be different. I believe that these icons are for speed, stamina, and power in that order. I don't know with 100% certainty, but I believe that's the case. Yeah, speed, stamina, and power. Again, sort of, I think once you're in the race, they are measuring you against the other competitors, but prior to that, they are just sort of measuring you compared to the likely level of competition you're facing. Anyway, I expect good things out of Bourbon, so let's just kind of go for it. Alright, we did it.
1着
Good
達
job.
成いたしました。
Yeah, 1 by 2 lengths, so that's a pretty decent margin. Yeah. This will tell you how far away each horse was from the other horses. Yeah. Generally, L stands for lengths, so that is good. That would be equivalent to the length of an actual horse in actual horse racing. Don't know if it's the same in this, but yeah, so something like nose means that they were very, very close. Yeah, a number of lengths mean that they were quite far away. And if you ever see distance, that means that they were incredibly far away. Yeah, so again, it's not super exact, obviously it doesn't tell you exactly how far away they were, but it's a pretty good measure. If you win by a good margin, then you can expect good results. You're doing pretty good for stats and whatnot. Stats and skills.
やりました。
Yes. Once again, first place.
準備完了。私は
Yeah. Again, I don't know which of these options means
体力
what,
低下を確認。
or if they have any
疲労
super notable
出
meaning.
力低下の可能性があります。
So yeah, we could go for another race. Generally, you don't want to go for too many in a row. But
体力
again, we're not going to get anything from... we're not going to get any stats left from racing.
疲労感知。
Yeah, we're not going to get any stats from training, but we can get stats from racing. And I think next time we'll just rest, but we'll take this opportunity to go for another race. I don't know, is this... Alright, it's saying that we've got a good shot. We could, of course, go for easier races, but the harder the race that you go for, the better results you tend to get. Ideally, you also want to be gaining fans pretty quickly. If you get certain amounts of fans by certain thresholds, you will get benefits. You will get upgrades to your trainee's unique skill. Yeah, you cannot upgrade their unique skill any other way.
指導
Some
します。
skills you can purchase upgrades
抜け
for,
る
and
よう
some you
な青
can't.
空の下京都レース場芝1600
But yes. So you cannot skip the race entirely unless you've already gotten a first place result in it, I believe. So yes, you can't skip the race entirely unless such is true, but you can still skip through most of it. I could press the skip button again and skip right to the end, basically. But again, I want to watch kind of closely to get an idea of how we're doing. How we're doing is not great, incidentally. So unless we get our skill activated, we're probably not going to get first place. But I think we're... no, that's fourth. Which is still a, placing on the podium, but nothing good. We could have done a lot better. Yeah, again, it's telling us that we know fewer skills, which is true, probably. Again, I'm not necessarily eager to, I'm not necessarily eager to spend a whole lot of, I'm not necessarily eager to spend skill points too early. Yeah, not necessarily eager to spend skill points too early, but, we just got a fair few now. Anyway, so, we're having issues getting a substantial lead. Part of the issue there was that we had a late start, so obviously that means that we're a little bit slower throughout. I think that we probably want to go for stamina. I feel like that's going to be an issue for us. So we'll get a little bit more of that. Yeah, I don't know if it's still possible for us to get Swinging Maestro. If possible, I'd like to get it, but anyway. We do have an ad break coming up. I don't want to forget about it, so instead I'm going to run it early, and then I'm going to take a short break myself. Be right back. Oop. There we go. So yeah. So, from reviewing sort of the results of our recent races, I feel like we're probably more concerned about speed. If we can prioritize anything, probably we want to prioritize speed. We haven't been getting very good results in friendship, which is a little bit unfortunate, but not a whole lot to be said about that. Yes, one thing that we do have to say is that we are about to enter a new race. Yeah, we want more speed. I think we're doing okay on everything else. I'd also like more wit if I can get it, but I'm not that concerned. Again, I'm more concerned with just speed. So yes. So again, certain races you will have to run in. Yeah, as I understand it, I believe that races that you are required to run in, your gold races, I do think that those don't lose you stamina, or they don't lose you speed, or you don't lose energy. You don't lose energy for competing in them. Anyway, futurity stakes. Well, here I am to watch the race. Mihono Bourbon is racing today. Did you hear that she's aiming for the classic Triple Crown? Sure did, but isn't she the best at sprinting? That's what I thought too. Her trainer's just wasting both of their time. Go, Bourbon. You can do it. The murmur of the crowd echoes quietly throughout the runner's tunnel. Today, at Asahi High Futurity Stakes, I will accomplish our objective of changing the public's perception of me. I'll be off now, trainer. Get out there and give it everything you've got. Understood. Alright. So, probably we're going to do pretty good. I imagine, I don't know. It's not guaranteed that we will win. We don't necessarily need to win all of your gold races. Usually they will have a requirement of place 3rd or higher, sometimes place 5th or higher. Sometimes you just have to run in them, which I think is a goal that is impossible to fail, unless I am mistaken. But yes, I don't think there's anything that can happen that outright prevents you from running in a race. because you can't choose anything other than the race if the goal race is the option that you, or if the goal race is on that day. You can't choose other races, you can't choose training. So yeah, so I don't believe you can actually fail in that way. But anyway, so one way or the other, let's get to Bourbon's race here. Yeah, looking at things, we're almost certainly not going to finish her career in the 10 minutes that I have left, so I guess that was a little bit of a pipe dream. Probably will continue this tomorrow, and I might take a bit more of a brisk pace towards things, or I might just kind of go for it. We might just kind of live with what we get. But yes, so I don't have a whole lot to say about this. Again, we've done a fair amount. I probably could have focused a little bit more on training. We've got good stats as per the game, but I don't think we've got great stats enough to necessarily consistently win. If we get skill activation, we're going to be more likely to, though. Yeah, of course, we've got Bourbon's unique skill. We've got a few other skills that are pretty good. We'll get some stamina back from corner recovery, hopefully. None of the skills are guaranteed. Some are passive, they're just always active, but usually those are ones that have very specific activation requirements that are not necessarily going to happen in every race. Like, there are skills that make you better at racing on specific race courses. There are skills that make you better at racing under certain weather conditions or in certain seasons, and you can't really control those per se. You know, your goal race will be your goal race, and it will be what it will be. Yeah, we are in the lead, and we do have a skill activation, so we're probably going to do pretty well here, I think. But yeah, we don't have as much of a margin as I would like. We are pushing ahead. It can be a little bit hard to tell with the camera angle sometimes, but we are putting more distance. We had our other competitors catch up pretty well there. So yeah, again, I would ideally like a lot more speed to get better, to make a, what's the word I'm looking for? To put a wider margin between us and our opponents. There we go. So yes, very good. But yes, there's also the option to watch a concert after every race. We're probably not going to do that necessarily, though I do kind of wish that we had watched the concert for this one at least. Yes, Mihono Bourbon's passionate effort in the race leaves many of the spectators in shock. Well, that was something. Did you see how Bourbon ran? She blew me away. It was definitely amazing. Do you think she'll be able to keep this up in longer races? I'm convinced. I can see her running with that kind of speed for 2,000 meters, or maybe even more. Make no mistake, Bourbon's got it in her to be a star player in next year's classics. She's got what it takes to aim for the Triple Crown. Tip. That was incredible, Bourbon. If nothing else, the race ends up causing many people to acknowledge Mihono Bourbon's dream. So yeah, the goal races are going to, again, except in the cases where you can choose them. And I think there's at least one character where it is random. The goal races are, I think, consistent in terms of what race they will be, the distance, what racetrack, and things like that. So you can plan around that. But yeah. So if you have a character who has some important races at a particular track, you can aim to get a skill that improves your performance on that particular track. And I think that the weather conditions might also be set for goal races, but don't quote me on that because I'm not 100% sure. I haven't paid that much attention. But yes, the distance and the race course are, and also the season, I suppose, are always set though. But generally, skills that can activate in any race are going to be more useful generally. I'm back, trainer. You did really well.
思考中
Thank you very much. However, it is unclear whether or not I successfully changed the public's perception of me. I did not hear words that clearly expressed a shift in opinion. You did just fine. At the very least, the people around me were stunned by Mihono Bourbon's running. I relay all the details to her.
驚きました
Status. Shock. I suppose there was a marked change in the crowd's atmosphere.
ご命令
In that case, I believe I have successfully achieved our objective today. Ready for your next order, trainer. Since we'll be tackling the classics next year, we need to hit another milestone first. Let's enter the Spring Stakes. Spring Stakes will serve as the perfect test to see whether Bourbon has what it takes for the Satsuki show.
オペレーション開始
Order acknowledged. Browsing data. The Spring Stakes has a distance of 1,800 meters. I surmise that I must enhance my stamina even further.
お願いいたします
Therefore, I wish to train after returning home today. I respond to her enthusiasm with a vigorous nod. As I'm waiting for Mihono Bourbon by the racecourse entrance to return home. Bourbon was so great. Now no one's talking bad about her. A lone Umamusume emerges. It's Rice Shower, a kind reserved runner in the same year as Mihono Bourbon. I can't keep being afraid. I made up my mind. I'm going to do my best too. I'll work super hard in the Twinkle series, and I'll change.
なるぞ
I'll become a new and improved Rice Shower. Will make everyone smile.
どうなさいましたか
Rice Shower? Yeah.
あの
Did you just call my name? Is there something you require? Bourbon. It's just... You were really amazing in today's race.
ありがとうございます
Thank you very much. That's very kind of you to say. That's... Well, see you later.
疑問です
I wonder why she was so flustered. In any case, the Asahi High Futurity Stakes ends without a hitch. Now we set our sights on the next race, the Spring Stakes, and resume our daily training. So yeah, I think we are going to go a little bit later today. I did start late anyway. And I'm excited to continue. So yeah, we don't have a whole lot before the Triple Crown starts though, huh? So yeah, we need to get that speed up pretty quick, I think.
スタミナは努力で補う
Stamina, of course, will also be necessary. Yeah, we've just not gotten good results. I think part of it is just that,
紅葉感知
yeah,
オーダーをいただけ
the...
れば通常以
Let's
上
see, I
の
think
成
that
果を
we
約束し
can...
ます
Oh, no, right. Rear profile. So yeah, part of the issue... Well, I was going to say part of the issue is that we have several support cards that aren't leveled up, but that's just blatantly untrue.
必ずクリアしてみせます
But yeah, so we've got one that's not leveled up. Leveling them up, of course. Well, I say of course as though it would be obvious, but leveling them up makes it more likely for them to appear in general, and more likely for them to appear for the training that they are relevant to in general. But yeah, mostly we've just not been having good results. Not been having good results on when they show up. I mean, again, I don't really want to go for guts, but
行きます
we need some friendship. We need some friendship.
明けましておめでとうございます
Happy New Year. I'm counting on your support this year as well. Let's not waste any time and start this year strong.
はい
Yes, indeed. We decide to watch footage of past races to prepare for this year's classic Triple Crown. On the screen, we see Tokai Teo, a peppy, self-confident Umamusume who idolizes Symboli Rudolph. No one can catch her. She's the undefeated Twin Crown champion, Tokai Teo. Her body is agile and she has an indomitable will. She had a great showing at the Satsuki show and the Japanese Derby. Everyone expects her to go undefeated and win the Triple Crown. Tokai Teo is on screen again, triumphantly raising her hand in a peace sign. Her graceful run across the turf had all the spectators captivated.
なるほど。
So, it's powerful racers like her who run in the classic Triple Crown races. Are you feeling the pressure?
疑問です。
Negative. Why would I be feeling any pressure right now? Because Tokai Teo is so good.
はい。
Indeed she is, but that information is irrelevant to me. With that odd statement, Mihono Bourbon turns back to the screen.
オペレーション開始。
Processing venue and atmosphere, racer speeds, and match progression. Complete.
準備完了。
With this knowledge regarding the classic Triple Crown, I can begin doing mental simulations.
遂行し
We will
ます。
reach our objective through daily training and further stamina enhancement. Right, let's do it.
うん
Yes, one problem exists, however. Mihono Bourbon's expression turns slightly sullen.
思考中。
I don't fully understand your other order. My other order?
はい。
To be a runner who inspires courage in others. Come to think of it, I do recall giving her that order before. The way you run inspires courage in others. I'm so proud of you. Continue to prove that hard work surpasses talent. I have updated my objectives. They now include the Twinkle series, the classic Triple Crown, and showing the value of hard work.
うん
Although I acknowledge your order, this concept of courage has not yet been entered into my database. Incidentally, I also have no experience with inspiring others or being inspired myself. Executing your order will prove difficult for as long as I don't have sufficient understanding of these sensations and experiences. Although her face is expressionless, she still seems somewhat downhearted. I think for a moment about how I can cheer her up. Sit. So yes. So at each end of year, you will get a particularly important multiple choice here. Yeah, there will be one that gives you energy back. One that I don't remember what the others do because I pretty much always go for the energy. Yeah, one of them gives you skill points, one of them gives you stat points, and one of them gives you energy, I think. Yeah, and I think this happens every new year, basically. Yeah, I think it's the same. Where they happen on, like which dialogue choice you choose to get which bonus changes, but I think it's the same 3 bonuses each time. Let's watch something funny on TV. I hear that there's a VTuber on who might be somewhat interesting. I suppose I'm not on TV. Rather, I am TV. I don't know, you could be watching me on a television. Who am I to say? Order acknowledged. Switching to terrestrial television. An error has occurred. The television has turned off.
あの
Proposing a makeshift solution. Should I smack the television? No, stop. Luckily, the TV starts working again.
疑問です。
Trainer, what was the meaning of that last joke? Mihono Bourbon watches the witty one-liners with intense concentration. It seems like today's activities have helped clear Mihono Bourbon's mind. I'm sure she'll come to understand the meaning of courage soon enough. After all, we're going to spend this year storming through the classics together. So yes. So again, energy is very valuable because it lets you train as you see fit. And again, we're just not getting great results. Well, we want speed,
実行します。
we want speed, we want skill hints. So that's good. Okay, we didn't get a skill hint, but we did get
見事。
some more wit, which was something that's also useful. Alright, Turbo here is going to be playing a dancing game. Let's have her run really hard, or dance really hard. Yes, once again, Turbo will show the power of just doing things really very much. Sometimes you just need to go super hard, as they say. Alright, so with that, we did get a hint level for early lead, which is unfortunate because I think we already have that. Yeah, so that wasn't useful, but we'll keep that in mind for next time. We do have, ironically, not ironically I suppose, but unfortunately, our first friendship training opportunity has popped up when we definitely do not have definitely don't want to be taking it because we do not have a good chance of success. So, honestly, I think we want to do more training. I think we're going to lay off the races a little bit for right now. I want to prioritize resting so that we can train. But yeah, there should be... Actually, that might not be right yet. There will be, I believe, an event that will give us the opportunity for more... You know what, I'm going to go for stamina this time because I want to improve Suzuka's friendship. Because she is, again, a speed support, and we need speed. Alright. Kiryuin, Happy Meek are out shoe shopping. Kiryuin now will learn the value of respecting her trainees' opinions. Yes. And Meek, I suppose, will also learn the value of speaking up for herself. Yes. Don't need to worry too much about that. I suppose if we're just going to be skipping through these, we might as well just shorten them anyway. I don't know. I don't want to shorten all scenario events, only the ones that, like, aren't that relevant, I would say. It's a difficult, yeah. It's something to consider one way or the other. Yeah, further improving our friendship with Turbo shouldn't give us a substantial change one way or the other, I don't think. Once they have reached that fourth mark and the bar turns orange, that is when they are available to do friendship training, but they have to land on the relevant training. So for Turbo, you would need to land on speed to give us the additional speed bonus from friendship training, which did not happen, so. We can get some additional friendship with Uji Kiseki, though, fortunately. Not the best that we could have gotten, but it is what it is. Alright, in this event, me and Kiryuin make fools of ourselves. Yeah, this is an event that, yeah, this is an event, or no. Oh, I'm thinking of a different one, actually. Maybe. Is this the event that I'm thinking of? Yes, it is. Okay. Yes, in this one we make fools of ourselves, which improves the mood of your trainee. I don't know that... I know that the events typically happen in a certain order. I guess I've never paid close enough attention to know if they happen on specific times of the year. If so, you could probably plan around this, and that would be useful for you. But anyway, we don't have any skills that we can buy that I especially want right now. So I think we're just going to go for it, basically. Alright, Spring Stakes. Reconfirming race information. 1,800 meters on turf. 310 meter long straight before a steep incline of 2.2 meters before the finish line. I acknowledge that these conditions would have provided a stiff challenge for me in my pre-debut state, but now I can handle it for sure. Indeed, the probability of a winning outcome continues to rise. I will do my best to get through today's 1,800 meter race as preparation for the Satsuki show. Should I fail to do that, then perhaps it would be wiser to change the direction of your future plans. I can feel the resolve in Mihono Bourbon's quiet ultimatum. You've got this, Bourbon. Yes, trainer. The Spring Stakes, which serves as a stepping stone for the Satsuki show, is about to begin. Alright, so, this one should be pretty important as again, a measuring stick for our progress. We're not going to skip it. I'm going to watch it in fast motion, though. I'm not going to speed it up to 4 times, I don't think. Mostly just out of sentimentality. It feels a little bit rude to speed through her important races too much. We are going to skip through the introduction though.
芝1800スプリングステークス15人の馬娘たちが挑みます。人気と実力を兼ね備えたライスシャワー。今日は3番人気です。2
The
番
race
人気を
shower.
紹介しましょう。
I suppose I should say,
さあ
usually any given trainee that you train will have at least one character who sort of serves as a rival to them in their story, who will often appear in their matches and pose a substantial threat. I don't know if their rival characters are necessarily any more likely to be more powerful than anyone else. It definitely feels like it sometimes. You know, there's a lot of randomness in the races themselves, but there are some things that do seem to be pretty well set in stone. Yeah, we haven't gotten any stamina back, which is a little bit unfortunate. Because yeah, we are getting past now. We aren't necessarily doomed, because we do still have time to activate skills. It looks like we're... okay. We should be good. We might not get... okay, I was going to say we might not get first, and we definitely aren't going to get first. Not bad. Yeah. We might not get first, and indeed we did not. But we did pretty good. I do think that we did have some issues with stamina. Because I feel like they caught up to us pretty well at the end there. We definitely feels like we were slowing down to the end. Yeah, more speed would have been good also, again, because just being faster is always good. But yeah, we lost a lot of speed due to lack of stamina there, I think. Mission complete. I executed all your orders successfully, trainer. You were great out there. I owe it to the effective strengthening of my body from incremental daily training. I estimate that I now have the ability to compete in the Satsuki show. Thank you very much. Let's keep it up and do our best at the Satsuki show too. Understood. We've built a great track record so far, and now it's finally time to go for the Satsuki show. Alright, a pretty good performance. Not a perfect performance. But we don't have time to rectify that. But what we do have time for is a special event. Yeah, this will happen once each in-game year, I believe, where you will get inspiration. You'll get another buff from the Umamusume you chose for your legacy. Current deviation from determined route. Verifying current location. Current location. In front of the three goddesses statue. Inspiration. Yes, once again, we will draw strength from those who have run before us, and we will become more powerful than ever. So yeah, so we should get some pretty decent increases here. Yeah, so we'll get some clues to some skills. We'll get some increases to some stats. Yeah, pretty good speed. Not amazing stamina. Wit good, competitive spirit, skill health high. Yeah, these skills are generally pretty good, but I think the speed is the thing that I most want here. Because again, that seems to have been an issue for us. We just aren't putting that much of a margin between us and our opponents. Again, stamina is probably more of a concern than I'm giving it credit for, because I'm used to playing horses who run shorter races. Yeah, horses who run shorter and horses who run more towards the front. Generally, you can focus more on speed. So if you've got a character who only cares about short distance races and is best in the front, then you can basically just go all in on speed. But yes, that's not the only strategy that I've used that has gotten me through to the URA finales, but going for characters where I can just go speed and speed as my two main concerns make it a lot easier. An unexpected event has occurred. Analyzing situation. Confirmed increase in body temperature and skill values. Details unknown. However, this warmth is pleasant. Alright, with the power of divine inspiration on our hand, we should be performing substantially better. Yes. So, again, we have a little bit of an issue with longer races. So I think we probably want to get some more stamina. I'm reluctant on Rosy Outlook because I don't know that we're going to keep the lead that consistently. Because again, we've also been having issues with just speed. Straightaway recovery is not ideal. Ideally, corner recovery or skills that trigger on corners generally are better than skills that trigger on straightaways, because straightaway recovery can give you endurance back right at the start of the race, because every race starts on a straightaway, and it can give you endurance back right at the end of a race, because every race ends on a straightaway. And, obviously endurance is always good, but, at the very start of the race, you're not going to be facing any penalties due to lack of it. And at the very end of the race, even if you get some back, you're not going to be able to accelerate fast enough to take advantage of it. But we already have corner recovery, so more opportunities to recover are probably better than nothing, even if having a better corner recovery skill would itself be ideal. It's that time of year again, folks. We're kicking off the classic Triple Crown with the Satsuki show, and everyone's attention is on Mihono Bourbon. There are concerns about her aptitude for a race of this distance, but I say it's no big deal. I bet she can do 2,000 meters, no problem. A 200-meter race would probably not be a big problem for her either, but at her current level, she can hold her own against last year's winner, Tokai Teo, so expectations are higher than ever. The racetrack is abuzz with excitement as Mihono Bourbon makes her entrance, meanwhile in the runner's tunnel. Sit. Oh, what an intro. But I'm also... even I can. Come on, Rice, you can do this. Rice Shower? Also, in case you were wondering, that is a knife that Rice Shower is not holding, but is wearing on her belt there. Don't worry about it. Bourbon? Well, we'll be racing together today, so I'm very happy, and let's do our best out there. Rice Shower extends a trembling hand to Mihono Bourbon. What's this? I'm sorry, I knew that would be too forward. Offering a handshake, Bourbon. I see. Mihono Bourbon takes Rice Shower's hand just as she tries to pull away. Let's do our best out there, Rice Shower. Yeah, my throat's definitely getting to me at this point, so I don't think we're going to push much further than this. We'll clear the Satsuki show, and we'll do as well as we do, and then we'll call it for the day. Yeah, again, I'm not going to continue the career off stream. So I think we'll pick it up again tomorrow. The first race of the classic Triple Crown, the Satsuki show, is about to begin. Yes, so we've got good things going for us. We've got a great mood. We've got good skills for this, good stats for the... Pardon me. Yeah, the game is telling us we have good stats. We've got a decent set of skills. I'm trying to think. Okay. Because I didn't see the activation conditions for this skill. Increased velocity when positioned towards the front after making it to the final straight without faltering. So yeah, so that means that we want to... Yeah. I'm assuming the wording on these tends to be pretty individual per character. They vary quite a bit. So it's not always necessarily easy to tell exactly what it means from just looking at it. But I'm pretty confident that making it to the final straight without faltering more or less means without losing too much endurance. And yeah, one thing I want to be clear on, I use terms like stamina and endurance pretty interchangeably. Yeah, so you sort of have your race stats, or you have your training stats, I would say, is the easiest way to think of it. You have your speed, your stamina, your power, your guts, and your wit. And then you have your race stats, which are sort of how the game considers what goes on under the hood, so to speak. So speed sort of correlates to what the game calls velocity. Yeah, velocity is sort of the speed that you're going at, and yeah, speed, the stat, increases your maximum velocity. Yeah, power contributes to acceleration, which is the rate at which your speed increases. Yeah, stamina contributes to endurance, which is, again, once your endurance gets low enough, you start to take debuffs to your velocity. But yeah, and guts, again, affects how your character interacts with endurance in ways that are not super clear necessarily. And wit, again, is primarily for skills, but it also reduces the likelihood of things like late starts or getting rushed, as we saw earlier. But yeah. So anyway, for instance, Bourbon's unique skill here says it increases velocity, so it increases her speed. I believe it would also increase her top speed. Yeah, ability to take the lead or go to the front in early race. I guess, yeah, it does also pop up with what is being increased during the race. So if you ever see a character with, endurance up or down, or velocity up or down or whatnot, that's telling you sort of what is happening with your race stats as distinct from your training stats. Yeah. So again, acceleration is good because it lets you get up to speed faster, but if the problem is that you're not fast enough, then more acceleration isn't going to benefit you that much. You need to work on increasing your velocity, either through increasing your speed or through getting skills that can give you velocity. And so yeah, so again, things like corner recovery and straightaway recovery say they recover endurance, which again is how the stat is considered in the race itself. Whereas, again, I tend to use the term stamina and endurance somewhat interchangeably. But yeah, if we're talking about what's going on in the race itself, then what is relevant is endurance. You want things that give you endurance back. But yeah, anyway, all this is to say our stats are looking pretty good. Yeah, our stats are looking pretty good, but they've looked pretty good so far, and we've not gotten amazing results. We've gotten good results. Like, we haven't failed anything, really. We've never gotten below, I think, second place. No, fourth. We did get fourth once. At least once. We've done good in all of our races, but we've not done amazingly in any of them. Again, I feel like a lot of that comes down to just the fact that we've not gotten good training results either. Because yeah, again, it's not uncommon to have 2 or 3, sometimes even 4 or 5 supports on a single training option. And we've just not had that. We've just not gotten opportunities for Bourbon to increase her friendship a lot. And because she hasn't gotten her friendship up very much, she also hasn't had the ability to, because she hasn't had her friendship go up much, she hasn't had the opportunity for friendship training very often. She's only had a single friendship training option ever, and we didn't take it. So, we're definitely below the curve in terms of stats, or behind the curve in terms of stats as I would like it. Again, we're not doing terrible. We're not doing terrible by any means, but we could be doing a lot better. Yeah, so I suppose I should mention, we've been talking a lot about support cards and about our character. Generally speaking, support cards are more important than the specific character you're using. Yeah, your specific character will determine sort of how they have their own proficiencies in specific types of races and whatnot. But, again, your support cards are what are giving you your training bonuses, and your training bonuses are really what sets you apart. Yeah, if you are training efficiently and effectively, you're going to get better results than if you just have, a better character who, isn't doing well. Yes, we are activating go first a fair amount. So it looks like we are doing okay on stamina. But we did kind of get stuck behind Narita Bryan there. So if we... yeah. I believe that Wit allows you to maneuver around other racers more effectively. Because yeah, one thing to keep in mind is that, you know, this isn't Mario Kart. So you can't just run into other people and bump them out of the way. So if you are behind someone when you start accelerating, then you don't, you know, you can't just push them out of the way. So you don't necessarily get all the benefit if you are right behind someone. This is another thing that makes front runners generally a little bit easier in some respects, because you're less likely to have lots of people in front of you. Yeah, you're less likely to have lots of people in front of you, so you're less likely to get boxed in. But, as you saw there, we did still get boxed in by Bryan and Seiyun Sky. And again, if we had more wits, we could probably, if we had more wit, only one wit. Guts is plural, wit is singular. But yes, if we had more wit, we could have probably navigated around Bryan a little bit better and gotten first. And we still won. We still completed our goal. But we could have done better, importantly. But yeah. So because of this, we're not going to get the actual Triple Crown, which is a little bit unfortunate. Not that that necessarily means anything, per se. But we are going to leave Bourbon's dream unfulfilled on this run, at least. Give it up for Mihono Bourbon and the great performance she put on today. Excited cheering. No, I can't believe Bourbon lost. Still, I couldn't take my eyes off her the entire time. It must have been because of her presence, or actually, because of how inspiring it was, knowing how hard she's worked to get as far as she has. She may still be green, but she ran quite impressively regardless. I'm excited to see what the future holds for Mihono Bourbon. Mihono Bourbon's fans applaud uproariously despite the fact she lost. I mean, as far as losses go, that was a pretty good loss. So, this is the classic Triple Crown. This is the Satsuki show. Bourbon. Trainer, please accept my apologies. Reporting, I failed to obtain the Triple Crown. My power was insufficient. No, your power was fine. I think it was wit, like we said. My dream has been shattered. She stands there, still and despondent, utterly unaware of the praise coming from everyone she captivated with her run. Bourbon, listen to the voices around you. Voices? It's a shame Bourbon can't get the Triple Crown, but she sure was awesome. Yeah, watching her made me want to work as hard as she does. My running is influencing others? But why? There's something to be gained from racing, even if you lose. Status. Strange. I do not know what to do. Even if she can't win the classic Triple Crown, even if she doesn't win any crowns at all, just finishing the races should have a positive impact on her. We're in this together, to the end. Together, to the end. She raises her anxiety-filled eyes, and her gaze grows stronger as she digests my words.
Hi.
Yes, trainer. Generous cheers and applause rain down on Mihono Bourbon, and the excitement doesn't wane for some time. Bourbon was so amazing. Everyone was watching her so intently. I was no match for her. What else did I expect? All I'm capable of is watching others and saying how amazing they are. I have to change. I have to. At night, after coming home from the Nakayama race course, we head to the track because Bourbon wants to run for a bit. Rice is currently training. In addition, I have identified that she is crying, but I can't comprehend. Bud. Rice Shower tumbles over and Mihono Bourbon rushes to help, but I stop her instinctively.
マスター
Trainer, let's see what happens. After a moment, Rice Shower stands back up. And then she begins running again. I'm going. Get stronger. I'll get stronger, and someday I'll catch up to Bourbon.
あの
Trainer, I have difficulty deciphering emotions. What was that just now? Determination, I suppose. I did not win the Satsuki show, so why is she... Bring people happiness. Thinking back, I remember Rice Shower, or Worse Girls. Yep. Yeah, good to see you all. Glad to see you drop by. Yeah, we are just getting towards the end of our time with Bourbon today. We'll be continuing tomorrow, though, I do believe. But yeah. Yeah, I was hoping to get through heading to bed yourself. Fair enough, fair enough. Yeah. Initially, I was hoping to get through her whole career in one stream, and maybe I could have if I skipped more liberally. But given my incorrigible cutscene watching self, we were, midway through year 2 as we get to the end of the stream here, rather than being, through year 3. So, it is what it is. We should be able to wrap it up pretty well tomorrow, though, I imagine. Thinking back, I remember Rice Shower saying something similar before. I can even come close to performing like that in the Twinkle series. And maybe I'll finally be able to say goodbye to the Rice Shower that only brings misfortune and sadness to everyone. Yes, I hope you sleep well, Alt. Again, good to see you as always. Yes. Where was I? Right, of course. Rice Shower doesn't see Mihono Bourbon as a competitor. She sees her as an inspiration and an ideal to strive toward. And while she carries that aspiration, it's apparent she's not satisfied with herself. I'm sure that was frustration. Frustration. Mihono Bourbon repeats the word quietly, but the meaning doesn't seem to click. Pardon. The meaning doesn't seem to click with her. I'm concerned about Rice Shower, but I can't sit here worrying forever. The long-awaited Japanese Derby is coming up soon, and we have to get in the right mindset for it. But yes, a decent haul of stats, but we could have gotten better. Good skill points, but again, we could have gotten better. And not a whole lot of time to train between now and then. The dessert buffet yesterday was so yummy. I'm supercharged with energy. Dessert. Energy. Supercharged. Is Bourbon looking at us? Do you think she's mad? Are we too loud? Whoa, did you feel that bass? Is this the error sound that plays whenever Bourbon gets angry? We're sorry, we were being too rowdy. We'll go for a run to burn off this energy.
詳細を求めます
No. I want you to tell me about this method of energy recharge.
オペレーション開始
They're gone. Beginning analysis of the situation.
分析
Misunderstandings regarding my facial expression and abdominal sounds caused subjects to flee. High crowd density will make pursuit difficult. I conclude that communication remains the most difficult operation for me to execute. Unfortunate.
疲労感知
But
出
yes.
力低下の
So,
可能性がありま
with
す
that, once again, we will call it for tonight. And we will return to the room. So yes, we have had some fun here today. Yeah, glad we finally got around to playing Umamusume. But yeah, let's see. So yeah, so again, wait, hold on, right. Before we close up, if anyone has any raid suggestions, I would be delighted to hear them. If not, I can find a target on my own. So, with that, now we can go over business. So again, because we didn't quite get through things as well as I would like to today, we'll probably be continuing this tomorrow. I suppose it doesn't matter too much one way or the other. We could do a stream on Friday as well, but I'd like to start it sooner rather than later, so that if we have to delay for some reason, we won't delay so long that we intersect with the Saturday stream, which again will be Arc Nights. Yeah, even if we don't get to stream Umamusume before then, we will not be replacing the Arc Night stream unless for some reason I am unable to play Arc Nights, which hopefully should not be true. I can't imagine any reason why it would be true, but we definitely do not want it to be true. But yes, anyway, so, assuming that we stream tomorrow, we should be streaming at around 8 p.m. No. 8 is very ambitious. Probably closer to 8:30. Yeah, we'll see about what we do though. 8:30 should be doable. Might be a little bit later than that. But yeah, one way or the other though, we should probably get through the rest of Mihono Bourbon's career. But yeah, again, we've done a little bit more skipping than I would like, and we might need to continue doing a little bit more than I would like, but we should be able to get through all of this. And yeah, not seeing any raid suggestions, so tonight I think we're going to go and drop by Svella Procera, who is playing Ballionaire. But yes, which is a game that I am only very vaguely aware of. I'm fairly aware of it. I've seen a decent amount of gameplay of it. But yeah, I think it's Plinko, sort of, is what the I don't know. I believe that Plinko is what you call the game that it is based on. I think, maybe. But I'm not 100% sure. Basically, it is a game where you drop one or more orbs into a space where there are various pegs set up, and it bounces around and lands in a place at the bottom. Anyway, much in the same way that you have games like Nubby's Number Factory or Balatro. You know, there are a lot of modifiers that you can put on the board and modifiers that you can add to each ball and to just sort of your run in general. You make it so you can, score more effectively and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, never played the game myself, but I've seen it played a fair amount. Anyway, so yes, Svella Procera is who we are raiding into. Valkyrie VTuber. Yeah, we've seen her a fair amount, but we haven't seen her that much lately, now that I think about it. So yes. So, the customary raid message is, as always, we have arrived. And so, thank you all for being here tonight. I hope that you've had a fine night. I hope that you'll continue to have a fine night every night. And I hope that you will be well until the next time I see you. Thank you all very much, and farewell. Let us get this raid underway. Might help if I actually send the raid. There we go. Farewell.